podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Pretty fucking bang on that was. We are vibing. We are in sync. We are ready to go. This is episode 429 of Film Bastards. Yeah, fucking let's go. I hope everyone is well. Apparently COVID has fucked off.
It's just gone.
It's not a thing anymore. We're all fine.
It's all fine.
No restrictions.
No.
Just lick everything.
I'm gonna.
Yeah?
Yep.
We're
Now,
later and you're gonna just lick everyone.
if I'm in the pub later on and somebody goes, "Oh, have you met Daniel?" I'm just gonna go straight up to him and I'm just literally just gonna lick his eyes.
So, I'm not allowed to lick anyone yet living in Wales.
No, you can't. You're not allowed to. COVID is still rampant in Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and apparently the rest of the world.
It's crazy that it's.
But it's gone because of the Tory partying. They partied it away.
Well, the thing is, they couldn't make her have another baby because she's literally just had it.
Yeah.
Because the last scandal.
I do reckon at one point Johnson has, and I genuinely believe this. I reckon at one point he went, "Could we give one of the kids COVID? Maybe."
I reckon he maybe thought about getting her pregnant again, but then people would have been like, "What kind of fucking gnarled furrow is he like ploughing now?" Like that is literally just birthed a child, and he's like fucking in there again. That's grim.
Yeah,
that would have been grim.
Yeah, let's be honest. The fact that man has between like 6 and 9 children is already a little bit grim.
The fact that like so many people choose to fuck that is disgusting.
Well, I'll say this.
Like, who's looking at that moppy-haired fucking fat piece of shit and going, "Yeah, I want that"?
I mean, power and retinol are very, very powerful drugs.
There's so much power you can have. Like, do you know what? If I had Boris Johnson and he could be the most charismatic person in the fucking world, if he looked like he looks, there is no way I would tap that. Unless I was getting paid. And I don't do that because I'm not a prostitute. So, if I was a professional prostitute and I met that and he was very charismatic, I would maybe go, yeah, fine. And then tell my story to the Sun because that's...
The Sun, wow.
They're the kind of people that say that kind
you're
of
going, You're just going low moral now, aren't you?
Yeah. That's the only
The prostitution I can accept, Rebecca. I'm fine with that. That is your choice as a woman. I'm fine with that. I draw the line at the Sun.
You would need to be of extremely low moral fibre to ever touch anything that looks like Boris Johnson.
I mean, a horny sweeping brush covered in lard.
He's disgusting.
Anyway.
I mean, this was my fault. Yeah, the last time we did a normal recording, what fucking state of the bloody... I can't even remember like what the last revelation was at that point. But anyway, we're in an interesting twilight world where we don't know whether Johnson's going to survive or not. Probably by the time we record the next show, I'm starting to think he will, at least this bit.
He's fucking bulletproof.
I'm starting
There's no accountability with any of them. There is no kind of platform for normal people in this country to go, actually, you're a piece of shit. Because idiots read the fucking Daily Mail and the Telegraph and the Sun and they fucking vote them back in every time. It's honestly, I'm so angry about it right now.
Right, let's talk about something else. Sorry, go on.
No, just before.
Yeah, please.
We knew this would happen. He is a person of extremely low moral fibre. He fucked that Carrie bitch that he's now married to while he was still married to his cancer-suffering ex-wife. And He lies all the fucking time. He's been fired from every job he's ever had for lying.
Yeah.
How did he get voted in? Oh, because he's affable and he's got stupid fucking hair and he seems like he'd be a fun pint. Fuck off. That is not what we need to run the country. Fuck off. Tory voters need to take a long, hard fucking look at themselves. No, they won't. But hey ho, films, eh?
Yeah. I mean, I started that, and
you did, yeah. You have to take full responsibility for that rant.
I do. I accept full responsibility. I will be apologising to Her Majesty. And
well, she was sat on her own at Prince Philip's funeral, and they were partying.
Oh God, I've done it again.
Will you stop now?
Sorry.
I get it though. I get it, but you know what? People hopefully listen to this as a way of forgetting about the troubles of the world. And then what did we do when COVID was really rampant? We just talked about fucking COVID.
Let's talk about some films.
I think they listen to us to be relatable and like to reflect the concerns they're having as well.
I'm assuming nobody who votes Tory listens to us though. Also,
not anymore.
You know, right? So
I think that went out the window a long time ago.
Yes, bloody right. So yeah, we hope you are all well, folks. It's been an interesting time, but I don't know, for good, better or worse. It feels like people at least are going to be allowed to get back to normal. We'll see how it goes when a new variant comes along. But until then, what have we got coming up on this week's show? We've got a film which I genuinely thought was going to be pushed back at one point, but it wasn't. They stayed the course. We've seen it, and it's opened well. We are going to be reviewing the new Scream 5, or Scream. I think we'll probably call it Scream 5. I don't know. Also,
Scream 2022.
What?
We could just call it Scream 2022 as an audience.
I think we should call it Scream.
It's not Scream.
But it's called Scream.
But it's
Scream,
not
right?
Scream.
Anyway.
But it references that in the film.
It does.
It does. We'll also be talking about Apple TV's maybe Oscar botherer. Maybe we'll see. The Tragedy of Macbeth. I think we will probably have a fair chunk of what we've been watching and trailers and things like that as well. Said at the end of the last show that we were going to put up the first part of Scream If You Want to Go Bastard, as Mark so fantastically titled it in the recording, for non-patrons. I haven't done that, and I'm not going to. Patreon.com/filmbastards. It was a good chat. It was about an hour and a half of Scream chat, and the patrons pay money, and good on them. So there we go. That's how we roll. So patreon.com/filmbastards, $2 a month. However, due to my poor time management, like quite frankly, I'm just going to own that. We're not doing the Insider this week. We will do it next week. Basically, we're recording on Wednesday. I got to Monday night, and I just after the work day I had, I was just I can't even, and I wasn't going to be able to watch 3 hours last night. So
it's one of those things. I think it had it been like a 2 hour movie, like an hour 54, yep. You could go. I'm all right with that. But it's once you go over that 2 hours before credits mark.
Yeah, I mean,
and the thing is, it's a weighty 2 hours 40 minutes is the Insider.
And the thing is, I will probably kick myself. I've only seen the Insider once previously, and you know, I mean, I watched Heat and I fucking devoured that. I ate that shit up, and I probably will with the Insider as well. And I'd be like, God, fucking hell, why was I just not in the mood to watch this? But I wasn't. And one thing that I'm going to try to be better at is just getting that shit done quite early in the week before we record.
Yeah. We said this.
We've done this. We actually watched Tragedy of Macbeth today, but that was a planned. We watched it today, didn't we? Mm-hmm. But like we've said, there's too many times, even with films we're looking forward to watching, that we leave until the later end of the week for no reason other than we go, oh, we've got time for that.
Yeah, Scream 2022, we went and saw on Saturday night, didn't we?
Yeah.
At like 5:20.
Yeah.
Just after we'd finished work, and it was like, it was perfect, 'cause it was done then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, don't feel bad about the insider, Ian. We took the opportunity to go to the pub and then come home and watch loads of episodes of High Fidelity, so it's fine.
Alright, cool. No, alright, fair enough. I'm glad I didn't mess you guys about. That's good to know. Okay, so... But yeah, we'll be back with the insider next week. I'm just putting my dressing gown on if anyone can hear any kind of like flappering in the background. Flappering? That's not a word. So...
Can be.
Well, fuck, I think I just made it a word.
You did.
Oh, I got the wrong arm on, guys. I got the wrong arm on. Hang on.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell. Oh my word. Oh my word. I put on my dressing gown on a work call today, and they were just like, oh, look at fucking Hugh Hefner here.
How cool is your dressing gown, Ian?
I mean, it's a pretty nice dressing gown. My in-laws got it for me for Christmas, because I asked them for a dressing gown for Christmas. And,
Can I just clarify, how old are you, Ian?
37.
Okay. That's fine.
That's
the right age to ask for a dressing gown for Christmas.
I think I'm getting towards that. Yeah, because I mean, like, it used to be a bottle of Jack Daniels, but then they wouldn't do that again when I drunk an entire bottle on Christmas Day one year.
Yeah, that did happen, yeah.
So, I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
I mean, I can understand where they're coming from on that.
Fucking hell, like, literally my father-in-law was watering it down, and I just wasn't noticing, but they were just like, he's a fucking mess, you've got to do something about it. It was pre-Lottie, just to be very, very clear. The last time I ever had a whole bottle of Jack on one day, I mean, to be fair, Donna was pregnant, but it was my birthday when she was pregnant. Well done, me. Anyway. So, movie news. Sidney Poitier died.
Yes.
Massive,
Oh, it's really sad, yeah.
What a fucking career, and like 93, I want to say.
Yeah.
So
he got to a ripe old age.
Yeah. I mean that's the kind of age where it's like it's very, very sad he's gone, but I'm sure he had a very full life, so that's great. The gentleman who played Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising died today, or at least it was announced today. Gaspard Ulliel,
37.
Yeah, 30. Fucking hell, 37. Skiing accident. Just hit someone else. Hit someone else in a skiing accident. Bang, you're dead. What the fuck?
It's dangerous skiing.
It really fucking is. Like the Michael Schumacher thing blows my mind. On a literally probably a weekly basis.
What that he
I think
got?
about Michael Schumacher on a weekly basis.
The fact that he spent all those years doing that sport, and then he just gets taken
skiing with his family, and now he's just like, who the fuck knows? I think the fact that they're so secretive about it, which I completely understand, like, none of our fucking business, but no one knows what kind of state he's in.
This show's started weird.
It really has.
But no, yeah, quite. And I mean, massive show. I mean, apparently he was playing Midnight Man in Moon Knight. Who I've got no idea who that is, and I don't know whether it was just a one season thing or something. But yeah, just like real, yeah, 37's no fucking age.
No. Have you watched the trailer for that, by the way? Because I know we won't talk about it in trailers because it's TV. But have you watched the trailer for Moon Knight?
Have I watched the trailer for what? Moon Knight. I'm seeing things.
I think he pulls it off. I think he pulls the accent
Does
off.
he? I'm not too sure. I mean, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. I'm having visions.
I think we need to see it in a larger context. Mark's looking at me really confused because he's not watched the trailer. There's an accent involved, Mark.
I've heard. I've heard there's an accent involved.
It's a whole thing.
I went to watch the trailer and then I just went, I could spend these 2 minutes doing something else. I'm not going to watch the show.
I have seen the trailer and I'm interested in it. The thing is, I was interested in Hawkeye. I watched 2 episodes of it. Just lost the track of it in December. Now it's the new year. You're on to the next fucking thing, and it's just like never mind. What came out of Hawkeye? Oh, spoiler alert: Vincent D'Onofrio's back in the MCU. Cool. Anything else happen? All right, cool. So I just know that he's back. Fine.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, Vincent D'Onofrio's back in the MCU. I didn't watch The Punisher.
He was Daredevil, but yeah,
him too.
and I mean the thing is, I kind of see it from both sides though, because it's like Vincent D'Onofrio in the first season of Daredevil is he's so good, but at the same time, if you were telling me now Vincent D'Onofrio is so good in Daredevil, you should watch it, I'd just be like, no. So I mean, so this is the thing with Moon Knight. I mean, Ethan Hawke as a charismatic cult leader and Oscar Isaac as a Marvel superhero. God, if you gave me that in a 2.5 hour long film, I would suck your fucking dick. Jason Reitman.
It would be in my top 5 most anticipated movies of the year.
But it's a TV show.
So I didn't even watch the trailer.
Yeah.
But it's going to be 6 1-hour TV episodes, and I'm just like, it's like the Book of Boba Fett. There's content. There's so much fucking content. There's too much. There is too much of everything, and it's sorry, I'm going to rant a little bit here. This news that came out yesterday about Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. All that's gonna be on Game Pass. Fucking everything. Here's every single fucking Activision thing. All you can eat. Nom 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 nom. You're just gonna get fucking full so quickly. And that's what it is with Netflix. And then it's like, what do you prioritise? What do they prioritise? What just gets fucking shunted into a corner because there's 50 other bloody things that you need to watch? God. Movies, man. 2.5. God, I'm just fucking hardcore back into fuck TV, fuck content. Movies, 2.5 hours. You've had a full experience, hopefully, and you're done. Or if you haven't had a full experience, you might have to watch Dune Part 2 in a couple of years. But it's only another 2.5 hours, and it's going to be in 2 fucking years' time. Movies, TV can suck my dick like Jason Reitman.
Yeah.
Moon Knight, looking forward to it.
I absolutely agree with that. The thing is, I hope people are really enjoying the Book of Boba Fett. I hope people really enjoy Moon Knight.
Bob's Fettuccine.
Or Bob's Fettuccine, as Becky's phone keeps on changing it to.
Solid.
So I don't know whether I've mentioned this before. Did I?
I don't know.
You once had fettuccine with the guy who played Boba Fett.
No. I was going to message Mark or put it into a list of TV that I wanted to watch, and it changed it to the Book of Bob's Fettuccine, and now that's just what we call it.
That's strong.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird that it didn't know Boba Fett.
I'm not a big Star Wars typey person, I guess, so I maybe don't type the names that much.
No, I know, but you'd think that it would know Boba Fett. If you typed in Darth Vader, it's not going to put it into dark vacuum.
I mean, it maybe would. Should we
Go on, try it.
I'm going to look now.
Darth.
Oh, no, Darth.
Darth, not dark vacuum, Darth Vader.
Okay, so I've got Darth Vader. Dearth of
but Vader! It's got Vader, but not Darth.
It's got Vader and it capitalised
it. It capitalised the Vader, yeah.
What?
But Bob's Fettuccine, that's. I mean, it's amusing.
It doesn't capitalise dirty vacuum.
Dark vacuum, not dirty vacuum.
Try typing Boba Fett and see what it comes up with.
How do you spell it?
Okay, Boba, like Boba.
Fett.
Yeah. Why has he not done it to you?
Well, it doesn't automatically change it, but it does change it to fettuccine.
It automatically changed it to Bob's fettuccine.
Well, you obviously type fettuccine quite a lot then.
Well, I do type fettuccine quite a lot. We have a lot of fettuccine.
We do.
We do.
So,
Anyway.
got some other movie news that's just dropped on Deadline, which is interesting.
Ooh.
Bong Joon-ho is looking at his next film. He's been taking some time after Parasite, and it looks like it's going to be a film with Warner Brothers starring Robert Pattinson, based on an upcoming novel by Edward Ashton called Mickey 7. And it doesn't say what it is about, which is really helpful. Towards the end of 2021, Bong Joon-ho was presented the manuscript for the unpublished book by the author, and it immediately drew his interest. The Oscar winner became loosely attached to the project late last year, and prior to the holiday break, met with some of the town's most promising stars, as every A-lister in their 30s was chasing the role. It wasn't long before Bong and execs were impressed with Pattinson following his meeting and felt was perfect for the role, with an offer going out right before the new year. So...
He's done 2, I believe, hasn't he? English language films.
What, so Snowpiercer...
Snowpiercer and Okja.
Oh, Okja, of course. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he seems perfectly happy directing in the English language. He's going to have some serious fucking Parasite heat. And, yeah, I don't know. The hopefully kind of mid-budget level auteur film at studio is not completely dead.
Oh no, it never will be. It's one of those things that'll just keep on. It'll keep on getting made, because every so often you'll get one that'll be a smashing hit.
And it's interesting that that's Warner Brothers as well. And you know, after the 2021 they had, where obviously all their stuff was going to HBO Max, and they didn't really talk to the talent about it all, and then their AT&T decided to actually go, do you know what, Warner Brothers, yeah, we're not that interested, off you fuck. And now Warner Brothers are kind of like trying to start building the bridges again. If you're going to build a bridge, I think a film directed by a recent foreign language, like a non-American Oscar-winning director, starring a man who's able to straddle both indies and blockbusters, pretty fucking good way to go about it.
Yeah. It was always going to be... You always felt like it was going to be an English language film was going to be his next one, because Parasite had broken so well in English-speaking markets.
Yep, absolutely. Also, Universal, Blumhouse, and James Wan's Atomic Monster Company are going to be releasing a new AI thriller called Megan, but the E's are free.
Of course.
Sure. Okay, so directed by Gerald Johnston, who directed Housebound.
Oh, yeah.
Quite liked that. Script by Malignant's Akilah Cooper, and based on a story by James Wan. Here we fucking go. It follows Alison Williams is starring. She plays Gemma, a brilliant roboticist at a toy company who uses artificial intelligence to develop Megan, a lifelike doll programmed to be a kid's greatest companion and a parent's greatest ally. After unexpectedly gaining custody of her orphaned niece, Gemma enlists the help of the Megan prototype, a decision that has unimaginable consequences. Go on then.
Yeah, go on then.
That sounds alright to me.
I'm down.
Coming out Friday, January the 13th next year. Which will be debuting the same day as, I forgot this was a thing, J.C. Chandor's Kraven the Hunter film.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Fucking Malignant folks getting all up in that. Why not? Let's hope it's a Malignant 2 and somehow Megan is fucking, what's his name?
What's he called? Gabriel.
Yes. I had Gerald in my head, but it was because it was the director. Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah. Good stuff. Secret Malignant sequel, please. When? Okay, let's move on then. That sounds ace. Trailers. So, Mark, new trailer for Jackass Forever played, which I know was a bit of a balm for yourself.
Yeah, it really was. I got on the Jackass train really early on, for the series. I remember watching the first series, and kind of it was just my speed at the time. And then you've sort of spent really kind of getting on 20 years now with these guys. Oh, yeah, get up to 20 years now with these guys, but they've not done anything really for the past 7 or 8 years. And then the trailer for Jackass Forever came on the big screen before we saw Scream. And honestly, the whole thing just felt like a bit of a warm hug, like a hangout with friends. Almost like a do you know what? Everything might be okay. Which is weird, but it did.
They're really old, so one of them might die.
No, but it's one of them has died. But it was just I can't wait to spend 100 minutes with those idiots again, just still doing stupid fucking shit.
And the great thing is, probably the most annoying of them all is not in it.
Yeah, that is the good thing. It looks like it's just going to be really quite an oddly sweet movie.
I am. So this comes out 2 weeks Friday. I am getting the fuck out of Dodge work-wise, going into Cardiff, grabbing beers, and I'm just going to laugh by myself while I get pissed watching Jackass Forever.
Yeah, honestly,
I can't wait.
Genuinely, in Jackass 3, I believe it is, I'm fairly certain it is 3. In Jackass 3, the giant high-five hand hit him Bam Margera when he isn't expecting it.
Why don't you?
Is genuinely, I think it is possibly one of the funniest things that has ever happened. Ever.
Why don't you also book that day off from work as holiday, get the train to Cardiff, meet Ian from work and go see it, and then come back, because then I don't have to fucking watch it.
I think you need to watch it with me.
100 Mark, I would 100% book a half day off work if you wanted to come to Cardiff, watch Jackass and just get pissed. I will do that.
I will look into it and see what I can do.
You need to look into it. And Paul, I won't say your surname, but Paul, if you're listening, if you want to join us, let me know. Or if Mark doesn't come, if you want to join me and have another John Wick Chapter 3 experience, then please do.
And listeners, even if that does happen, I will still make Becky come and watch it with me again.
No. The only reason that I'm fucking advocating for it is so that I don't have to watch it.
You have to watch it.
I don't want to.
I've
never liked Jackass. I've not liked any of the movies. Why would you make me watch this?
I made you watch the rest of them. It feels like a rite of passage.
But it's no.
There's something else coming out that weekend that I need to look this up because it feels very. That's going to be an odd show. What the fuck is it?
It is something else, isn't it? Because this week it's Belfast and
Nightmare Alley. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Oh god. Oh fuck. No, it's in the exact same mode. It's Moonfall.
Fucking Moonfall. I can't wait for Moonfall.
I'm really excited for Moonfall.
Yeah.
Serious, God, that is a crazy fucking... Moonfall, Jackass Forever, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and one that I'm looking forward to, The Souvenir Part 2, all in the same weekend. Oh my word.
What a fucking weird weekend.
Yeah. It's a heavy weekend, that for the first weekend in Feb.
Oh my god. The weekend after, Jesus Christ. The weekend after is Uncharted, Death on the Nile, and Marry Me. The J-Lo, Owen Wilson one that looks like the greatest romantic comedy ever made.
J-Lo and Owen Wilson in a romantic comedy released in 2022. Did somebody find that in a box marked 2007?
They must have done, yeah.
Like, seriously. But then the 18th of February, there's fuck all out. Spread it out. Share the love. Oh, God, the 25th of February, it's just Serrano. And then the weekend after that, it's the bloody Batman. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to stop talking about listings. But just Jackass Forever and Moonfall. Oh, fuck. You see, the problem is, I want to see Moonfall in IMAX, but I have to drive to the IMAX. But I want to see Moonfall pissed as well. Honestly, I could do Jackass Part 2 and Moonfall and just get fucking wrecked in the cinema. No, Mark, seriously, we need to have a conversation.
I will look into it tomorrow with work.
The only way it's allowed is if I don't have to see Jackass. That's the deal I will make with you.
Just think of it, though. We could go watch Jackass. No. We'll go watch Moonfall. We'll take some beers in. We'll go drinking. And then we'll go watch Jackass.
Jackass pissed would be a beautiful thing.
Come on. That's good times.
Let me see what I can do with work.
All right, yeah. All right. This is something. Patrons, your money can go towards Mark's train ticket.
I might come with you for Moonfall and then just drink gin with Donna.
Fucking... Oh, don't. That sounds amazing. Lottie can stay with the mother and father-in-law.
Me and Donna can go for a drink while you idiots watch Jackass, and then we can meet up with you.
I don't think you'll want to meet up with us after we've been drinking all day and watching Jackass.
That's a good point. Oh, God. Just what a treat. Anyway, right. We'll
as me and Ian are literally in the garden going, we built a fucking ramp!
Yeah.
I could see that, to be fair. God, Kiki would want to get involved, and then we'll try doing some fucking stunts with Kiki, and everything will go wrong.
I feel like Kiki would probably die. I don't think you want to do that.
I feel like, to be fair, Donna would probably be like, "Yeah, try it."
Oh.
She's not a fan of that dog. I mean, she kind of is. On occasion, she's a fan of that dog. On occasion, she's really not.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of how living with dogs is.
Oh, yeah, I know, but Kiki could be a fucking arsehole. Anyway, anyway. Focus. So, Jackass Forever, aside from that, whatever... I'm trying to think now, because it's been a while since we've done a main record, so I've kind of ever so slightly lost track.
There's quite a lot of trailers, actually.
There's a few, yeah. So
we
we've
need
got
to talk about the ones that are the films that we've actually watched.
Yeah, so we've got Gasoline Alley, the latest offering from
there's a trailer for that.
the sim known as Bruce Willis.
I think this looks quite good.
It doesn't, Becky. It doesn't.
It's intriguing.
It really
Is that the Devon
doesn't.
Sauer talking, though?
Yeah.
It doesn't, Becky. It doesn't.
I'd watch it.
I know we're going to end up watching it, but it's going to be shit.
Alright, Last Looks.
Last Looks, yeah.
What's that?
It's
The Mel Gibson, Charlie Hunnam
Mel
one?
Gibson, Charlie Hunnam, and what's her name from Deadpool?
Oh, Marina Baccarin.
Yeah.
Hot chick, hot guy, Mel Gibson. I mean, Mel Gibson's the only downside on that one.
Yeah.
Because you've still got to watch Mel Gibson films feeling guilty.
Isn't it? He's playing an egotistical movie star who somebody's trying to kill, and Charlie Hunnam's trying to find out who's trying to kill him.
Yeah, I think so. And he's getting some real serious fucking KFC Colonel vibes. Every role he does is more. He's got more mustache, more beard, Like, if he turns up in his next film just sipping a mint julep, I would not be surprised at all.
No, but literally that would edge him closer to literally buying a plantation.
Yeah, I don't think he's miles off.
No.
He's a problematic man.
Yes.
But he's a decent actor and he makes good films.
Yeah, let's move swiftly on.
Yeah.
To Against the Ice.
I'll watch the fuck out of this.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
What's
great.
that? Against the... I mean, it's a good title.
It's a Netflix film from the guy who did Everest.
It looks brutal as fuck.
Yeah.
About some guys that follow some guys that went on a...
Guys, breaking news. Sorry.
Is Boris Johnson dead?
No. Jason Mantzoukas is voicing Tommy Lee's penis in Pam and Tommy.
Is that genuine?
Apparently.
Wow.
Anyway, because I don't know whether that's actual real news or not. So
That is fucking huge news. Jason Mantzoukas is going to voice Tommy Lee's dick.
That show's gonna be a bit bonkers, isn't it?
It's TV, but I'm kind of here for it, if I'm honest.
I might watch that.
Fuck's sake.
What?
You're not allowed.
I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
Against the Ice.
Against the Ice, yes.
So some kind of explorer guys follow a previous expedition to kind of try and find out what happened to them.
Yeah.
But it looks very bleak.
It looks bleak,
it?
yeah.
But it's got Nikolai Coster-Waldau in it,
yeah,
off of Game of Thrones, who's pretty cute. So there's that. I
don't think it'd be cute with all these fucking frostbite in this one.
I mean, yeah.
What?
Hatching.
You can fucking do this one, because I think it looks terrible. I got bored 30 seconds at the trailer.
It looks really weird. Basically, a family have a bird fly into their house that the mother kills, and then the daughter finds a nest with an egg in it that she assumes is from the bird, so she kind of takes it into the house to keep it warm and let it hatch, and it grows and grows and grows.
Oh, God.
And then something hatches out of it that looks like some fucking weird freak monster thing, but then it would appear from the trailer like it copies her,
yeah,
and becomes like a clown kind of situation. It's fine. Foreign language horror movie. I'll fucking watch the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah, that's I heard the premise of that, and I was just like, yeah, I don't need that in my life. I'm not gonna watch that trailer. Like, that just doesn't feel like a me thing at all.
It isn't.
It looks interesting.
I'm sure it looks interesting, but
Cool.
just like, that's not a thing that Ian needs.
No, it's not a thing that Mark needs either. I look forward to listening to what you and Jord think of it.
Absolutely.
Oh, we could get Jordan on. We should get Jordan on more.
Studio 666.
Fucking shite looks shit.
Fuck it, yeah,
Fuck
right.
off.
What is this? Like, why does Dave Grohl feel like he needs to be in all forms of media all the time?
It is a little bit like they've had an idea and Dave Grohl's got enough money and enough cachet and enough, like, essentially weight to just get it made. Why not? Because I think he wanted to.
The Foo Fighters are shit. I was about to call them the Foo Fuckers then. They're not like translating to the younger generation, are they?
It doesn't matter. They're translating to a horror generation of people our age and a little bit older.
Nah. It can fuck off, that one. I'm not watching that.
Look, I mean, I am a mixed bag with Foo Fighters. It feels like every fifth album they release, I'm into. But it just, they look like they just look like they're uncomfortable with the fucking dialogue in the trailer, and just the idea of that thing being any longer than like an hour and 20 minutes just fills me with dread. I'll watch it. I will. I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch the shit out of it.
But yeah, I don't, if it just feels like I don't, do you know what though? If the creative impulse during COVID times and whatnot is either to make a movie or get a bunch of your celebrity friends together to do a fucking recording of Imagine, make a movie.
Yeah.
There's going to be more worthwhile to that than Gal Gadot's Imagine video. Like, she should never be allowed to forget that video.
No, she really shouldn't. And everyone that's in it should be a tiny bit ashamed. There should be a public apology.
Quite. Speaking of Gal Gadot as well, and I mean, I suppose we're past the movie news section, but this Joss Whedon stuff that came out. Well, I said came out. He did like the most ill-advised interview of the last, like, since Prince Andrew, maybe.
Yeah, since the Prince Andrew one, it is the most. No, I think I need to get my word. No, you don't. You need to shut the fuck up. For another few years.
It's I don't know. I mean, like, to be fair, I thought that piece itself just felt 90% of it just felt like going over old ground, and I don't know. It was a bit like, okay, yeah, we know, but every single fucking thing that Joss Whedon's, the whole thing about like Gal Gadot misunderstood him because English isn't her first language.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And
I mean, Mao Anshin said, I understood perfectly.
Yeah, you know, I mean, my God. And I mean, it was, his defence seemed to be, well, I was a nerdy guy who never got laid a lot, so when I became a successful nerdy guy and women wanted to sleep with me, I just fucking couldn't help myself. Like, Jesus Christ.
It was the ending of it for me where it was like, Joss Whedon called me a few months after the interviews were conducted and said that he decided that he'd forgiven himself because he didn't think he'd done anything wrong. And it's like, right, cunt, you fucking did.
Just because
you've decided.
That's the problem, Joss. What's very strange in a weird little thing of the Betty White incident is we were talking about this in the pub literally the day before the article came out. We were talking about Joss Whedon and you were defending him.
No, I wasn't defending him.
You were defending him.
No, I wasn't. I was saying
You were saying he's an alright dude.
I fucking wasn't. I was saying that his works are not just solely the product of himself, so you can't just go back and go, right, I can't watch Buffy ever again anymore.
I never said that. That's not what I said.
But I wasn't defending him. He's a fucking, I mean, Dollhouse. We should have fucking known, shouldn't we?
I told you whilst Dollhouse was on that he was a creep.
It is fucking creepy, is that?
Anyway,
I don't know. It's mind blowing. I really hope Ray Fisher gets some, like, another chance at a big role, because, I mean, fair play to the guy. Like, he's really being adamant about this stuff, and unfortunately it feels like how outspoken he is the kind of thing that could hurt his career, and I'm sad about that, and I think Zack Snyder's Justice League showed what he was actually trying to do in that role, and it worked, and I hope he gets another chance. But Joss Whedon, it's just like, is it just that the successful creative ego is just like, I can't just live a quiet life with the royalties that I've got, which basically mean that I'll have a comfortable life for the rest of my life. Like, I have to go out there, and I know he said about not wanting to tarnish his legacy and things like that, but it's just, how does someone not just sit down with him and just go, look, Joss, it's over, you know, like, don't make it any worse.
It's the ego.
Yeah, I suppose coming out of that interview, it shows that, doesn't it? But I don't know. It's a shame, but like Beck said, I mean, it shouldn't mean that people stop watching Buffy. I feel it's this whole thing, like, just people putting so much stock in people, you know, and it's like all these people who grew up on Buffy and like kind of like had creative aspirations because of their fandom of Buffy and whatnot, you know, and all these people who were so into it, and then they just like they feel like they what they loved when they're younger is just completely tarnished, you know, and I just feel I feel sorry for those people, and I hope they are able to disconnect in a way the art from the artist there, because
it's
there
Harry
were
Potter all over again, isn't it?
Isn't it though? This it's just like, don't put all your God, it sounds obvious probably to everybody listening to this, but don't put your fucking faith in anyone that you don't personally know. Just don't do it. Like it feels like shit is going to come out about all sorts of people who we grew up on in the fucking decades hence. You know, it's I don't know. It very, very fucking sad, and I don't know. Just it felt like the Buffy fandom were particularly Joss Whedon is my god, and you know that time where he did the fucking black and white Much Ado About Nothing, and everyone was fucking fawning all over him, and you know, it's
God, don't get me started on that.
You know, and like, to be fair, all this stuff is egged on by like media publications and whatnot, building all these legends. You know, it's like all the magazines, like movie magazines I used to read, were like all over Joss Whedon in my youth, and now their staff are perfectly happy to drop him in the bin. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. There are people. I'll be done in a minute. There are people working for Empire now who were working for Empire when they were more than happy to have Joss Whedon come on their fucking spoiler special podcast and talk about Avengers and talk about Much Ado About Nothing and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I'd like to know what kind of like reckoning they've had with themselves over the platform that they gave him, and how they helped build his legend.
The thing is, with stuff like this, without knowing the person, without knowing without, you know, having worked with them and like that, it is difficult to ascertain, you know, that they're that kind of dickhead.
But this is the thing. It's like Aaron Sorkin. People are now turning on Aaron Sorkin because he doesn't. Okay.
Sorry, what is it? Randomly just started playing something off YouTube.
Nice. No, but I mean, people are turning on Aaron Sorkin, like, you know, and calling being the Ricardo's lazy and whatnot. It is because he's coming out with things that, do you know what, an older man will probably say about politics and the state of the world. And now, like, you know, people are doing that. Like, 20 years' time, I tell you what, I bet Lin-Manuel Miranda comes out with some stuff that people, like, in their 20s and 30s at that point don't like. And then they're going to try and get his legacy in the bin as well. I mean, they tried to do that. In The Heights, people were fucking criticising the casting in that. Even though...
I mean, what I'll say there is, if you go to Puerto Rico and mention Lin-Manuel Miranda, they might tell you to go fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that... And I don't know. It just... It's fascinating, isn't it? Just like the pedestals that we put that we put people on, and
that's it. I mean, people need to identify with the show, not the showrunner.
Yeah,
the art, not the artist. Don't invest so much of your fucking identity in people that have a bit part in something you love, but they aren't the whole. Like, there's so many writers on Buffy. There's so many different directors on episodes of Buffy. And different actors and actresses, like it's a sum of its parts. It's not all just Joss Whedon.
No, it's not.
And
yeah.
I think a lot of people feel like I, as an example, I had just started a rewatch of Buffy before all these interviews came out and stuff, and I was tentative about doing it, to be honest, because I was like, this guy's a fucking creep, but this show is such a huge part of my formative years. There's signs there. There's fucking signs even in Buffy. Like, Xander is a fucking nice guy creep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's
really
there.
is.
Dollhouse, the signs are fucking there. Angel, the signs are fucking there. There is some kind of toxic shit in there, but it wasn't as noticeable to 15, 16-year-old me as it is to nearly 40-year-old me.
I always think that there's a bit of a right. So I'm going to go slightly off bat here, but it makes sense.
Is it going to be Friends?
It's not going to be Friends, no.
Okay.
It's not about film, but it's about the point that I'm going to make. So there are unequivocally some things that were wrong in historical filmmaking, TV, whatever, music, whatever, that were wrong. Just outright should never have. What it was never okay to do. Right?
Like Come On Eileen.
I mean, Come On Eileen, yeah, is a good example of that. Yeah. It'd be amazing if you actually explain what that song is about to people that are singing it in working men's clubs. But yeah, there's all these sorts of things. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking to the previous Liverpool chairman, chief executive, Rick Parry, and they were saying, do you regret selling the club to Hicks and Gillette? And he was like, do I regret it now? Yes. He said, do I regret it at the time? No. Because at the time, with all the information we had available and everything like that, it was the right thing to do. He said, so do I regret it? Yes. Do I feel bad about doing it? No. Because at the time, it was the right thing to do based on all the information. Based on that we had, background check, everything, we couldn't have foreseen what was going to happen. And it actually, that made sense. The argument of him saying of that was very much like, yes,
It makes sense.
it makes sense. And there's a little bit of going back and looking at films and TV and music and things like that, and looking back at them and going, well, that's wrong because of this, this, and this. And it's like, right, but you're looking at it. Those things that you're saying just might, you look back at certain things and go, yeah, actually, that was a little bit, what is it? For instance, the most of Trading Places. But there's other films where you're looking back at them going, no, but you're looking back on them now with sensibilities that are nearly 40 years to 50 years.
That's it.
different.
It's like, was it okay then? No, because it's not okay. But was it accepted then?
Yeah. There's a difference thing.
Yeah.
And plus, you can't embody yourself into that person there. Because you've got social climates are different. Everything's a very different thing. People need to stop going back and looking over old media and saying, ooh, I'm not sure I can watch this now because it seems like this. Like, well, just fuck off.
Well, that's it. I watch Buffy and I go, Xander's a fucking toxic, I'm a nice guy.
But at the time, everyone just thought he was just a great, nice guy.
No. With the Anya thing, no, he was a fucking cunt. But it wasn't even really a recognised thing. The toxic nice guy at the time. It wasn't a phenomenon. The guys that pretended to be nice guys, but really they were kind of arseholes. Yeah, if you're a nice guy, you're probably just a nice guy, and like I don't know. Joss Whedon can fucking burn in hell, but Buffy, I'm gonna continue my rewatch.
Good.
I won't watch anything else that he makes going forward, and the only Justice League I will watch going forward is the 300-hour Schneider Cut.
It's the only one you need, mind.
Yep.
God, I'm so looking forward to rewatching that. I just need to set aside some time.
It's the same thing as
That's same.
will I buy or listen to a new Morrissey album? God, no. Do I feel guilty about listening to the Smiths? No.
Do I skip every song that comes up from the Stone Roses? Absolutely fucking yes. It just is what it is, isn't it? I think you've got to make peace with it in your own way. Like the old works of people that have turned out to be problematic, you've just got to make peace with it. It happened before they were problematic. That there's maybe signs that you should have recognised, but naivety and whatever.
There's a brief mentioning. We've rewatched High Fidelity, the series, this week.
Yeah.
We'll get back to trailers after this point. And there's a scene within one of the episodes where somebody's asking for a copy of Off the Wall, the Michael Jackson album, and there is an argument between the staff
as to whether they should
as to whether or not it should be sold.
They have it in stock.
They have it in stock,
But should they sell
but
it?
should they sell it? And one of the characters makes the point of saying, "Look, if we went through everybody that had a problematic element to them within music, we'd have like 9 records to sell."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't fancy just listening to Ed Sheeran for the rest of my life.
He would have fucking, I don't know, shoved a hamster up his arse at some point. It'll come out, you know.
Hey,
Yeah.
it'll come out, yeah.
Yeah.
He's too fucking weird and creepy and ginger to not have some kind of issues.
Anyway, so Kimmy, the latest offering from the permanently retired Steven Soderbergh.
It looks interesting, this.
I'm up for it
Yeah.
because No Sudden Move was cracking. It does slightly depress me that Soderbergh is just more than happy to go, yeah, I'll do this thing and it will go on HBO Max, yeah, fine.
No, I'll go one for that. I think it's mildly depressing that Soderbergh has gone, I'll make this movie. Oh, HBO Max want to buy it? Yeah, go on then.
I think he's got some sort of deal with HBO Max, though. That's the thing. Like, and to be fair, I think it probably gives him a great amount of creative control, because I bet it's just like, right, give me fucking $10 million. In 6 months' time, I'll give you a film.
His career is a super odd one. He's a super odd guy in the way that his career has gone and the way that he has handled it.
I don't know. I mean, it would be nice if... oh God, it's a really big topic. And the democratization of, like, watching films and stuff, you know, in the end, like, we are in the greatest time of any time for the ability to be able to watch almost anything you want when you want and all that. But God, it would be nice if Soderbergh was just like, yeah, do you know what? No, I insist No Sudden Move get some sort of theatrical release. I insist Kimmy get some sort of theatrical release. Like, why not?
But I definitely think he's one of those, and you know, what I'm going to say is it's okay for filmmakers to have different opinions. So whereas you have somebody like Nolan, for instance, who is, no, I want my films to be watched in the cinema. I think somebody like Soderbergh is just, I just want my films to be watched.
Yeah.
I don't even think Soderbergh goes as far as I want my films to be watched. I think Soderbergh is, I want my films to be made. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You gotta dance with the one you're with.
Yeah.
When it comes to this kind of stuff, don't you? So
it does look interesting. I'll say that. But if it's more than like 95 minutes, I'll be a little bit like, ooh, can you stretch that premise out?
We'll see. I think.
Whoa! Apparently, it is 2.5 hours long.
Fuck off.
I've
Really?
looked at it. It says, let me double check. That can't be right. It says on on IMDb that it's 2.5. It's 2 hours 29 minutes long.
Oh, that's awfully specific. If it was 2 hours 30, I'd be more like that. Maybe that's a placeholder, but
yeah.
I think the era of COVID shot films.
And Wikipedia has the same.
Fucking 2.5 hours. Wow. Okay. All right. It's the era of the obviously COVID shot films where it looks like the office building. There's fuck all people around. It just generally looks like.
What is it? The scenes.
Sorry.
In one of the scenes, she's got a mask.
Yeah. You know, it would be interesting to see. I don't know, like what films come out of this as like cultural artifacts of this was COVID times, because you had Songbird from God, that was last year now. Wow, you got Kimmy, like Dashcam. I'm kind of interested in because that's all during the pandemic, and God, when's distribution for that being announced? Like, I fucking want it. But yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to this from that aspect. It's just like a cultural artifact, like Locked Down as well. You know, because they've all got this like very odd, almost kind of like just weird energy air in the Earth's one as well. Thinking about it, just odd energy air to them, where it's just scrappy and discombobulating. And that's what Kimmy looks like to me. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm less interested now. It's 2.5 hours fucking long.
Yeah, same. But you know, I'm sure we'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll still watch it. Ty West is back.
Fucking hell, there has been a lot of trailers. Yeah, he is.
With X.
Yeah. We'll see. Again, I feel like as I get older, I'm less feeling the need to watch stuff like this, but I hope it's got some imaginative moments to it. It just looks like it's going to be down and dirty and nasty, and I'm sure that will appeal to many.
It does. It looks like a Ty West movie that he would have made 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he came bursting out the blocks with House of the Devil, didn't he? I mean, that is... I mean, God, it's well over a decade old now, is House of the Devil, and it feels like... It feels like it's probably one of the most, like, assured and just individual horror debuts for a good long time. Like, that film...
It was actually second, wasn't it?
Was Cabin Fever 2 his first fucking film?
I'm fairly sure it was, yeah.
I mean, he took his name off of it, so I'm still going to say House of the Devil, but fuck.
No, House of the Devil, and the same year. His first film was The Roost.
Ah, that's right. Never saw that.
It's alright, actually, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But no, alright, fine, so apologies. But House of the Devil, it's just like, it's such a fucking individual film. And fair play to the guy, because like every film he makes is pretty different. You know, and obviously A Valley of Violence, he was trying something non-horror, and it worked for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. I hope there's some clever angle to this that we're not seeing.
Yeah, it's not just the film that it's not just what it looks like, which is a little bit like somebody doing Rob Zombie, but not like Rob Zombie.
It's an A24 Rob Zombie. Yeah, by the looks of it. That's perfect. Yeah. We'll see. We got anything else?
I've not. No, I think that's it.
Okay. Let's get into Five Cream. Which is directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, and stars Melissa Bushy Eyebrows from In the Heights Barrera, Jenny Ortega, Jack Quaid, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Nev Campbell. So, Ghostface is back. He's back in Woodsboro. And there is a new cast of characters around now who are being picked off. 20-something Samantha, played by Bushy Eyebrow Girl, it has run away from Woodsboro, and she's now with her boyfriend Richie, played by Jack Quaid. But she is brought back to Woodsboro after her sister, played by Tara, I believe. Yep, Tara, played by Jenny Ortega, is attacked by Ghostface. So, yeah, I mean, all spoilers all the time. If this is your first show, we're going to be getting into it quite severely here. Becky.
Yes.
We've not talked about Scream at all. I didn't even know when you guys were seeing it. So this is exciting because I honestly have no idea what you guys made of it. So we've been through the Scream films, as obviously we talked about last week for patrons, patreon.com/BillBastards. And we all very, very much enjoyed the films that had come before. This is a slightly leading question, I think, but Scream 5, do you think it was as fresh as Scream 4 kind of like feels like it would have been back in 2011 now that you're watching it? Yeah, I'll start with that.
It's a weird one because obviously it's very much harking back to the first one. There's a lot of kind of beat for beat going on in there, which is very intentional and is referenced. But I think it's difficult. You kind of have to take them all on their own merit, I guess. This is probably fresher than the sequels, the direct sequels probably were, but I suppose Scream 4 is a bit of an anomaly. The fact that I didn't mesh with it as much as the earlier sequels doesn't necessarily mean that it... I don't know, from like taking it in a fresh direction point of view, Scream 4 was doing its own thing, but this is also kind of doing its own thing. That I have issues with Scream 5 Cream, with the whole kind of Billy Loomis connection, but then that's also, it makes it interesting, but I think the dream scene cameos really didn't work for me. So it's I'm not directly answering your question, I guess. It's they from a taking it in a fresh direction point of view, I think they both work equally well.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
I think it does well. I think it does well. Thank you for your time, Becky.
There's issues I have with 4 and there's issues I have with 5, but they're different issues. But I think they're both kind of doing their own thing and trying to go, right, where do we take this now? Scream 4 obviously didn't land, so they've tried it with this one.
Yeah.
I think it works. I think it works really well.
Yeah, no, fair. Okay, cool. No, that's interesting. So, Mark.
Yes.
Did you think Matthew Lillard was going to turn up at some point?
I kind of hoped he was. And I'll be honest, I would have preferred him to have done that rather than the bad Mickey Madison impression of him that we get towards the end. But I think it was interesting the way they went, and I do think they just about got away with it. I guarantee you, I can't have been the only person in the screening doing like math in my head going, wait a minute, does this anywhere near add up with the ages? Because it doesn't feel... Oh, wait, it does, yeah. All right, it does, yeah. Fair enough.
It's tight, though, isn't it?
It's tight. It is tight, but it does add up. I was thinking, wait, so when's this set? I'm thinking, play it. All right, yeah, maybe. Fair enough. All right. Okay, you're all right.
Billy Loomis must have been fucking around, like...
But then I can also
time.
but then I can also believe that he was doing that.
Yeah, quite.
She wasn't putting out
because she wasn't putting out, and I don't think he was actually with her because he liked her that much. Because 2 things: 1, she weren't putting out, and 2, she didn't seem like she was that nice a person to be around.
No, and he didn't seem like the kind of nice person that would kind of be.
Well, no, he literally fucked her so that he could kill her because of his weird movie thing.
Yeah. Okay, so legacy characters that they killed off.
Yeah.
Really, you've only got obviously the heartbreaking one, and then you've got like a sub-legacy character that they kill off with Marley Shelton. And it's like, I was watching that thinking, yeah, that's probably just putting her out of her misery. Like, she looks rough as fuck in this movie. What has happened to Marley Shelton?
I'm glad we have the feminist angle on this podcast.
But no, but there's a few of them, like all the female characters. It's like
rough as fuck. Sorry, Bess. Wowee.
Marley Shelton does, right? But all of them, like who did makeup for this movie?
Can I point out, guys, that Becky literally at one point turned around to me during the screen, and we very rarely talk during movies, do we, when we're watching the cinema?
No.
And then over to me and went, Marley Shelton looks fucking horrific.
Right. Now, that is one where it's like, did she, in Scream 4, did she mention having a kid? I suppose, alright, fair enough, a woman does not need to mention that she has a kid. But, I don't know, that character in Scream 4 didn't
seem like it had
like she had a kid.
Yeah, that would have been...
She was just thirstily trying to fuck
around
Dewey.
7 or 8 years old.
Yeah. But do you know what? I don't mind the fact that, people are people. It's not an issue to me that she's put on weight. It's not an issue to me if she doesn't wear makeup.
It's an issue to you when she's rough as fuck, though.
The bad work that she's had done to her face, you add that to the fact that when Courtney Cox is trying to be sad about Dewey dying and her face doesn't fucking change, it's like Neve Campbell in there having clearly very minimal or very good work done is the most human looking of the legacy characters, apart from Dewey, but Dewey doesn't count because he's a man. But the female legacy characters, it's like, Jesus Christ, what, are you all sharing the same shit Beverly Hills doctor? What the fuck has gone on with your faces?
I feel like we should put a disclaimer on this podcast.
Do you know what? Botox is evil. It shouldn't be fucking done. The only one of them that can emote is Sydney. And she looks the best out of all of them. Honestly, Courtney Cox looks like a fucking horror show all by herself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be fair, Courtney Cox just very, very looks like she's had work done and that it's not great work. I didn't notice that with Marley Shelton. I don't know.
Oh, just her face is just frozen and just bad and crap looking. And Courtney Cox, her top lip looks just so swollen and it just doesn't move. It looks like a duck beak. It's honestly really distracting. The thing is, it works for her character because she is supposed to be this plasticky, very kind of looks obsessed kind of TV presenter. So it works for the character, but it doesn't work for Marley Shelton. She's like a small town cop.
She's the goddamn sheriff.
Right. So what? She's spending all her bonus on Botox injections.
Anyway.
I just needed to get that bit off my chest.
No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but talking about Courtney Cox though, I liked the legacy characters in this. I thought she and Neve Campbell had a nice dynamic in that later part. I enjoyed them. I hope this is the end for them if they do more ones. I could, to be honest, I could see Courtney Cox being paid $10 million to die in the opening sequence of the next one. Something like that. But it felt like a nice handing off of the torch, and it felt like they gave a shit as well. And one of the things that I really liked, so I've been listening to the Hello Sydney podcast. It's this limited series that the folks who do the Evolution of Horror and the Final Girls, they came together and did a podcast series about Scream, which was an officially Paramount Pictures thing. But it's very, very good. And they mentioned there that when they're Sydney's husband is Mark. I didn't pick up on this, but you know who that is?
Who?
It's him from Scream 3.
Which one?
Mark Kincaid, Patrick Dempsey in Scream 3.
Oh, really? Oh, that's quite clever.
And like they don't really call attention to it whatsoever. But it's like, right, okay, yeah, cool. Because, like, again, in Scream 4, maybe they just don't mention him. And then in Scream 5, she's married to him and she's got kids. Yep. You know, and I like, that's a lovely idea. And but as soon as it was revealed she was, like, jogging with the stroller, it was like, well, they're not killing Sydney then. And that did take away some of the narrative tension, I've got to say.
Yeah, I can agree with that on a holistic level, because you knew that they were going to kill Dewey. I kind of thought it was going to be in the hospital because of the trailer.
I thought it was going to be in his trailer. I don't remember Dewey in the hospital in the trailer. So
yeah,
in
there's
my
a bit where
mind,
he's running in the hospital.
Right, okay, fair enough. No, fair enough. I thought they were pulling a bit of a switch in the trailer where you've got him reacting to the rules and stuff, but it was actually a shot of him in the trailer talking to Sam and Richie, and I thought it was going to be that he was going to get killed off in the trailer. So I was really pleasantly surprised just how much Dewey we had in this.
Yeah, he's in it a big chunk of like the first, like, third half of the movie.
Yeah,
and I think out of the legacy characters, he's got the most to do and he's the most fun. I enjoyed Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell. I thought not having them in the thick of the action all of the time
was a good move.
Was a really good idea.
Yeah.
It allowed you to get to spend a bit of time with the new characters, which has its good and its bad points. But it definitely felt like it felt like a different Scream. It still felt part of the same world. Still felt part of the same universe. But the interesting thing about Scream has always been that the killer is always different but the same. So it's always Ghostface, but it's always different people. Well, the fact that the killers seemed more manic.
Kills were so brutal.
You know, they were very. Yeah. It wasn't a slow stab. It was a lot of like violent stabbing attacks, and then also, let's be honest, and all spoilers all the time. But having them just be
crazy fans,
just fucking hyper toxic fandom, was a very clever touch. There's a lot of from the guys who made it and you know the guys who wrote it. There's a lot of we're gonna poke fun and have a little bit of a dig at the horror community. So we're gonna have a go at elevated horror, but we're also gonna go at schlocky horror, and we're also gonna go at horror fans, but we're also gonna make a really good horror film.
We're also going to have a little bit of a dig at Jason X, because the previous Stab movie that's referenced in this is like it's kind of a dig at Jason X or something.
We're gonna basically go, look,
fuck all you.
Fuck yeah. There's a little bit of that, and I kind of I dug it.
Yeah. Can I just mention one thing that I've not really seen anyone else referencing that I loved about this movie? The scene with Dylan Minnette when his mum's been stabbed outside, but he doesn't know. It's after he's got out of the shower and he's in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, you've got the fake outs of every single doll.
But there's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. that scene is really well put together. I've not really seen anyone mention it.
No, yeah, it was good.
I think it gets lost as part of the larger whole, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. You guys just kind of like just stopped talking quite suddenly then. Yeah. The brutality of it that you were talking about, Bex, kind of surprised me there, because it's like with the 18 rating, like I was a little bit okay. Well, is it just the BBFC being a little bit more circumspect about violence? It's like no. There is some lingering shit
Yeah.
Really, really rough. When that one guy is stabbed in the hand, and it's really all up in there. Rough.
Dewey's death hurt as well. That was more brutal than I think it would have been had he died in an earlier movie.
Yep, for sure. But also, I mean, like, Scream 4 was really gory as well, but that was kind of, I don't know, that almost felt like it was just overblown and like we're having a good time. This was like, oh, bloody hell. I thought that was impressive. But the toxic fandom element of it, though, I mean, that's great. I mean, that's some fucking real... Alright, these folks had something to say in this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, just the fact that Stab 8 was directed by Rian Johnson, who also directed Star Wars Episode 8. You know, like, that's such a lovely... Like, because like, Rian Johnson gets a special thanks in the credits at the end as well. And I thought that was such a lovely fuck you to people like me. You know, when we first talked about The Last Jedi, you know, and I think hopefully it's a film that is going to make some people look at themselves, and it feels like it hasn't really been rejected. It feels like nobody is really pissed off with this. And I'm surprised by that.
I think it's been quite well received as a whole. I think people have gone, we're just glad it's not shit.
But I mean, like, the toxic fandom nature of it, I think maybe because it's really overblown and the toxic people don't realise that they're toxic.
I think it's a little bit of that.
And they're just laughing at, oh, look at what he's saying, you know. Maybe it is that, yeah. But it's. I will say though, I did think it was a bit obvious that it was him.
Yeah.
It lets the mask slip during the hospital scene in a couple of moments. Like when he appears to Tara in her hospital room, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he says, "Your sister called, and I came." She hadn't called Richie at that point, or she couldn't, like, there was something in my head there that was just like, well, that's actually not right. No, she didn't. Or it was like she was calling him, but it was like, how the fuck did he get to the hospital that quickly?
Yeah, it did feel a little bit like, yeah, that felt a little bit almost intentional, though.
Yeah, but I mean, then there's Richie, when Dewey is kicking the killer's ass, was like, the look on his face wasn't, oh, this is great. It's like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this. And I don't think that's a bad performance. I think that's intentional. I think that is a little bit of a tell. But
she was awful though, right throughout the film.
Who? Sorry.
The other killer.
Oh, no.
Mikey Madison. I thought she was like really bad.
It was like, okay, let's just have this random girl who's going to be in a couple of scenes, and then, oh, it's her as well.
Yeah.
Like, you almost forget about her, even though she gets a couple of scenes where it's like, she's weirdly intense. You just kind of seem to forget about her. And then it's like, oh, alright, fine, she's a killer. Why? Oh, you know, alright, fine. It blurred that line of guessable, but I don't know, it's not as bad as Laurie Metcalf in Scream 2, where it's literally just like this random fucking character, oh, it turns out there's a connection you didn't really see coming. It's not that.
Well, yeah, because she lives in Stu's house. She's a bit obsessed with Tara. So, she's kind of like on your radar a little bit. But her performance is awful.
Yeah, she's not great. She's not, no. I thought everybody else was alright though. I mean, I will say, I hope this is it for Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, but at the same time, I'm a bit like, I'm not that bothered about Sam and Tara going forward either.
I think
I want a next one where Sam gets like taken over by the spirit of Billy Loomis and really.
I think there's a bit of an element of that certainly that's there. I think they've left it open for 2 or 3 ways for the sequel to go. From what I understand from reading something about the possibility of the sequel, Neve Campbell will be involved, but Courtney Cox won't.
If she's involved minimally, I don't think like if she's in the beginning. But they're just getting too old for it now. It's like it's not a teen slasher when you've got like people in their
I think I think you can have them. I think it will be probably in a lesser role than even she is in this.
Yeah. I don't know how keen I am on the Billy Loomis apparitions in this, because he's he's encouraging her and giving her advice and stuff like that, and at some points it's kind of like good guy advice, and it's kind of, to me it seems like they're trying to kind of retroactively set him up as a supportive kind of figure in her head. And also, why would he be... Well, you said that it was just bad de-aging, but
I think it was just bad
he's
de-aging.
old in this, and he never got old.
I think it's just bad. I think it's just not great de-aging.
Really pulled me out of it every time he was kind of there in a flashback scene.
I mean, just that one at the end where she's like, stab, 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 and then he's just there, kind of like, giving an approving smile.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, that felt just a bit...
Much.
Like, what are we trying to fucking say here, then? That, like, serial killing is in the genes? Like, I just... No, I'm not feeling that, and the... Yeah, I mean, good for Skeet Ulrich, I suppose, but... Yeah, I don't know, man. If they went in that fucking direction, whether it's like, is it her or wasn't it her? It's like, well, they could have done, like, they were trying to do that with this one as well, like, at least at the start. That just doesn't feel like the right way of going about it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd watch. I mean, the thing is, but I liked it. You know,
yeah. It's a strong 7.5 out of 10 for me.
I'll watch it again, and I'll watch the next inevitable one. So it's done what it needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I Scream 4. Watching that now, I think what is actually going on in that is way more satisfying. I like the toxic fandom element, but the whole final girl turning out to actually trying to be a final girl and manufacture it all. That's a great turn.
Can I make a prediction for the next one?
Go on.
Hayden Panettiere will be back in it.
Great.
Yeah.
Kirby will be back in it. Because she's not dead.
Well, that's it. She dies off screen, doesn't she?
No. It says in Scream, what is it, within this, that she survived.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a legacy character that isn't...
So, yeah, they're going to bring her back into it, I reckon. Otherwise, why mention that she survived if you haven't got the idea to bring her back into it somehow?
It's at least the idea in it. Yeah. I mean, that would be great. That'd be great.
So I mean, definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit. And I will say as well, I like that the credits of this one go back to the let's have a bit of a pop punky song, and then the fucking credits with the people's faces on the end.
Yeah.
I liked that. I enjoyed that, and yeah, I've been listening to that band's EPs, and I quite like them, even though I don't think I should.
Our audience poll: definitely not shit 70%, and shit 30%.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Have you ever wondered what so-called family films will scar your kids forever?
Putting 4 or 5-year-olds in front of this movie, it's like, if they didn't know what death was before this, they're going to know it after it.
They're going to know it after it, and they're going to be freaking terrified.
And they're going to be questioning you.
Yeah.
Or do you have the slight suspicion that your loved one has a cold, dead heart?
Yeah, The Dark Knight has got like all the orphans and like, oh no, we're going to die. They did not build up those orphans at all. In my head, it's like, kill them.
Then look no further. The His Film Her Movie podcast is the show for you. It's the movie podcast that celebrates the contrasting cinematic tastes of its hosts. So join Jordan and Lauren every week on their unique journey through the land of the silver screen. So if you're looking for a few laughs, some fun film-related chat, then get involved. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Interrupt this Pod Syndicate podcast to bring you a special Pod Syndicate bulletin.
This podcast you're listening to, pretty good, isn't it? Only problem is, it's about halfway through. Pretty soon, it'll be over. And then what are you going to do? Well, if you're a fan of this show, why not head over to wearepodsyndicate.com and subscribe to our brand new feed, Pod Syndicate, The Bonus Shows. Every week, your hosts from Beyond the Neon, Chinstroker vs. Punter, Entertainment Landfill, Film Bastards, His Film Her Movie and What's on Tap will be dropping bonus shows right onto that feed. These shows might be collaborations and crossovers, or they might be archive episodes, interviews, one-offs, and other treats from across the Pod Syndicate network. So, prepare yourself for the inevitable disappointment of this Pod Syndicate show ending by heading to wearepodsyndicate.com and clicking on The Bonus Shows.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled Pod Syndicate podcast.
Let's do some what we've been watching.
Who's going
Who wants to start?
Shall I start with Matt? What have you been watching solo, Bex? Because I have a couple.
I watched Jojo Rabbit on my own.
How did that hold up?
Really well, actually. I really, yeah. I was a bit kind of concerned. I've been putting off rewatching it in case it was like not as good as I remembered it. And it is, so that's good. I watched Zootopia / Zootropolis.
Well, I also watched that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I saw that on Mark's Letterboxd.
Did
You
you
watched it differently.
separately?
Yeah, I watched it separately.
What the fuck?
That's so weird, Mark. Okay. What did you think?
I really like Zootopia. It's
You
a really...
both watched Zootopia separately.
Yeah.
Did I watch it first?
Okay.
I think you were watching it, and then I came down to do something.
Oh, and you watched
Saw
a bit,
you
didn't
watching
you?
it, watched a bit of it, then watched the rest of it the next day.
It's fucking great, Zootopia.
It's a really fun film.
It's got like a real fucking message to it as well. Like it's quite heavy in its messaging,
Yep.
but without feeling like it's heavy, I think.
Certainly, yeah. I think it's a really well written and well done movie that manages to both be fun and entertaining, but have something to say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it would be a heavy recommend for me for anyone that's not seen it.
What? Zootopia?
Yeah. I rewatched Dune.
How did that hold up?
It's really fucking good.
I tell you what, I watched the first 45 minutes of that yesterday, and I was a bit like, fuck, was I just in a bad mood?
It's so fucking good. The story's really good. The acting's really good. It looks beautiful. It's just really fucking good.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it on next week's show, like with your list at the very least, Bex. But I'm quite looking forward to getting the rest of that done. I'll be honest, I was in a massive traffic jam on the way to it, and I arrived like literally just before Dune Part 1 comes up on screen. So I was already a little bit harried, and I ever so slightly wonder if that just somehow affected my perception of the film. We'll see. It might be that I watched the other 2 hours and I'm like, actually, no, I was right. But the fucking watching that film, like the visuals are so fucking striking. It's just such a fucking film.
It is, yeah. I described it to Mark because the reason I wanted to rewatch it, and we'll get into it more on the end of year show, but I needed to decide between that and another film for my film of the year. And the way that I kind of described it to Mark uses days of the week as his descriptor for films. I tend to use food, and the thing is with Dune is it's like a really satisfying, all food groups are represented, and it's just really fucking good meal. It's a Sunday dinner, like a really good Sunday dinner of a meal. Everything's there, everything's really well done, and it ticks all the boxes. And it's just really fucking good, and it's cinema with a capital C for me. Is that movie? And the reason I wanted to rewatch it, I think, was because obviously we saw it on IMAX, and I wanted to see if it held up on on a normal screen.
Which is what you were saying as well, wasn't it, Ian?
I've got to say, actually, I'll let Bex finish. Sorry.
Well, I wasn't as slack-jawed, fucking mouthed, awe-inspired as I was by it in IMAX, but it's still really fucking good. And looks wise.
What they need to do when 1 and 2 are both out is just do like them, almost like them stuck together, or like with an intermission, and release the IMAX framing version. You literally, there are shots already in this first 45 minutes that I'm just like, yeah, there was more to the image. I mean, it's literally, there was more visual information I remember from the presentation I saw in the cinema than there is now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it takes away. It takes away. I'm surprised Villeneuve was like, yeah, that's all right. And I wonder how much of it was his decision, but Nolan managed to get it. Like for his films on, because like, I mean, to be clear, the Blu-ray and the 4K are just the 2.39 aspect ratio as well. There is no home video format that has the IMAX framing, and that's a real shame. I'm going to talk about a film later that I didn't see in IMAX, but I saw in IMAX framing at home, and it made it better. But yeah.
And then, with the exception of the one that I'm not going to speak about because you're going to watch it, aren't you?
Yes.
And I'm still suffering from like some kind of post-traumatic response to watching it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know what you're talking about.
The only other one that I watched on my own was The Gentleman. I didn't speak about that last time, did I?
No.
Wanted to rewatch The Gentleman just to kind of see. I didn't feel like I got on with it great when I watched it last time. It's fun. It's a bit pantomimey. Like the Hugh Grant character is a bit much and a bit too much of a caricature. The framing of the story is essentially he's telling Charlie Hunnam the story that Charlie Hunnam's already lived through. Is a bit weird, but then I can kind of get my head around that from a kind of, yeah, but he's showing off to Charlie Hunnam how much he knows kind of point of view. It's very good. It is very, very good, and it's better than I remember it being. But it's still not top tier for me.
Fair enough.
And then the one that I will not speak about until you've watched it and we can actually like get our heads around it together.
But and to be clear, I am to never watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
No. It's so good. So guys, it's Swan Song with Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris. It's available on Apple TV Plus. It's very, very, very fucking good. If you have any kind of dark thoughts with relation to your own mortality, losing people you love, how the people that you love would be affected by you dying. Just don't fucking watch it, because it's poignant but heartbreakingly ugly, crying bad.
Yeah, that's going to be insanely triggering for me, so I will do myself a favour and not.
Yeah.
Don't hit the summer.
You'll probably fucking love it. You'll be like, yeah, Mahershala Ali and his beanies, he's looking fucking tight.
Do like a man in a beanie.
Yeah, you do, yeah. And yeah, it's just, oh my god, I've not organised my thoughts enough that I can talk about it yet. And that's me.
Cool. I only watched 2 on my own.
Go on. Oh god, I know what one of them is.
What?
It's Anchorman 2, isn't it?
Yeah, spoiler alert there, Lex. Hang on.
Oh, sure.
So I watched Anchorman. It's been a long time since I watched Anchorman. But I wanted to. I think the last time I watched it was when we watched it before Anchorman 2 came out. So that's like getting on for like 8 years. So rewatched it. It's still really fucking good and really fucking funny. It holds its place as being like probably the iconic comedy of the noughties for a very good reason. It's an awful lot of fun. I'd only watched Anchorman 2 once since the cinema, and it was the extended cut, which is a little bit different. Like even like the main jokes are different. So I wanted to go back and watch the normal Anchorman 2. Because I enjoyed the different cut of it. But some of the better jokes.
Oh, so you watched like the theatrical cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of Anchorman 2. The thing is about Anchorman 2 is it's, for a start off, it's way too long. It's touching 2 hours, which is almost like 30 minutes longer than Anchorman. So you've almost got another third of a movie plonked on top of it. But genuinely, I think that there is some of like the best comedy of the past 10 years is in this movie. Paul Rudd is in great form. Will Ferrell's doing some good work. I think the character of Ron Burgundy has changed a little bit too much, maybe. But I think you can get away with it. It's kind of blown up. What's happened to Champ is quite fun, but they go too far with Brick. There's an actual, because the thing is, there's some great, like in the first sort of like half of the movie, or the first third of the movie, it is like there's a lot of jokes been thrown at it, but a lot of them land. So for instance, the bit where Ron Burgundy tries to kill himself, and then he's explaining it to Dylan Baker, who comes in, but he's explaining it in this voice, and the next just looking at him going, hang on a minute, I think you're telling the truth, so why are you saying it like you're trying to lie? is genuine, really quite funny in the fact that he goes, okay, so you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. It's like, you're still doing it. Is really good, and there's bits like that are genuinely funny. James Marsden as basically the new Ron Burgundy, the new young hotshot, is really good.
James Marsden just is
within it. But then you have the Steve Carell and Kristen Wiig thing within it, where there is literally a scene where all they're doing is throwing things and screaming, and you're watching it now.
It's embarrassing.
Going, right, that is unequivocally not funny. But that, even on set, that can't have been funny.
No.
And it just makes you look at it and go, what point was that funny? And then I see things about Saturday Night Live and realise, some people just don't understand what's funny.
Yeah.
Some people will literally just laugh at things because they're told it's funny. And it is genuinely, if you cut out that entire section of the movie, the Steve Carell and Kristen Wiig bit, who are two people I normally find very amusing and very fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you cut that out, you'd probably lose about 10 minutes out of the film. And it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
All of the bits, the interactions that Ron has with his kid, you could probably remove all those because even they're not that funny. Apart from when he buys Christine Applegate some lingerie and then tries to say it's a gift for the kid.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a really odd film, is Anchorman 2, but genuinely there are some great moments within it.
Fair play.
Should we rattle through what we've been watching, Bex?
Can do.
Yeah, because we've got a couple in there that are literally just, we watched this, we've spoken about it before.
We watched Con Air.
We watched Con Air.
We've spoken about it before.
We've spoken about it before. Con Air's fucking great.
Put the fucking bunny back in the box.
Yeah.
Get on with your life.
It's great watching Con Air like once every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Because you get to... Sorry.
I still maintain the end of that film where it's like, hey, the comedy paedophiles free again. It's not aged well. The rest of it, I very much enjoy Con Air. Sorry.
Yep, Con Air's great. It's just nice to watch it and go, yep, still fucking holds up.
Got the whole world in his hands.
Yep. We watched Unstoppable.
It's really fucking good. It's Unstoppable, isn't it?
It's fucking great. It's Unstoppable.
It's a Tony Scott film, right?
It is Tony Scott's last film. Yeah. I just literally, there are very few filmmakers. Right, if you were to explain to somebody at the time, so it's this film and it's about this train, right, and it won't stop. You'd be like, right.
So like Speed, but on a train.
Okay, like Speed, but on a train. Yeah, it is like that. Like that sounds a bit shit, and it's directed by Tony Scott. I'm in.
Yeah. If you come across a Tony Scott film that you haven't watched before, but you know it's by Tony Scott, you know you're in for a 5-star banger.
I every so often, I think every 4 or 5 months I need to watch a Tony Scott movie because it just makes me feel better.
Yeah, because they're all just so fucking good.
Yeah. We also rewatched The Sin Eater again.
Of course we fucking did. Because
it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a few months.
Yeah.
So we rewatched that.
You watched the fucking... Right, I swear to God the Sin Eater does come up every few months.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It does.
Fucking hell,
guys.
Like
every 6 months.
Christ.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it once.
You need to rewatch that shit.
It's very much our movie that when we get home from the pub at 11:30 at night and we're about to have like a couple of pizzas or something like
just
that.
Just get horned up and fuck in front of the Sin Eater.
And then we're just like,
that's what you two
what should we watch?
You fucking filth.
And it's pretty much that, yeah.
It's not that filthy. Apart from Catholic guilt does make you really horny.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Jesus, I kind of feel
Benedetta's
like I've
gonna make your
upon
cock blow up in it.
Oh, Benedetta is, yeah. That's gonna be some, yeah. That's gonna be some fucking watching.
The walls are gonna get painted.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Oh wow, alright.
Yeah, we're gonna have to brush this sofa down afterwards.
I think we might need to cover it with some cling film. Or
yeah, we'll have to do. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll put a sheet down. So we went and did it, didn't we, Bex?
We fucking did.
We went and watched Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, we fucking did.
Yeah, you did. Alright, yeah.
Go on, Bex.
I really fucking enjoyed it.
Of course you did, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It's fun and it's...
Is it?
Yeah.
Well...
It's just fun with the adventure-y shit. You're just miserable cunts, the pair of you. It's just a Ghostbusters movie.
Right.
It's a movie about busting ghosts.
Can I rant now?
The busting did not make me feel good.
It didn't. Can I rant now?
Fine.
Right. Here's the thing. If Jason Reitman had successful movies over the past 4 or 5 years, 7 or 8 years, right? The movie he would have made wouldn't have been Ghostbusters Afterlife. The movie he would have made could have still had the cast, but it would have been Carrie Coon as a divorced single mother having to move back to her hometown to go to her estranged father's house, thinking that might be worth something, finding out it's not, and then her connecting with her kid who is a little bit awkward and finding that connection through the local summer school science teacher played by Paul Rudd, and that's how she kind of finds herself again. And that would have been the movie he wanted to make, but his movies weren't successful, and he's Jason Reitman, so he has a family history with the Ghostbusters movie, so that's how he kind of got this movie made, by having it be Ghostbusters. And it was boring.
I disagree with you.
For the majority of it. Right, that isn't how children talk. That isn't how children talk. That kid...
No, children talk.
No, it isn't. I'm sorry. That fucking... The one that's the daughter, it was painful watching her talk. It really was. It was... I'm angry. Like, choking on my own fucking rage.
Okay.
Angry. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad people enjoyed it. I'm glad
you
some
weren't this
people
angry just after you'd watched it before you spoke to other people about it, though.
No, I was actually. I was actually. And I was bored during it. It's boring.
It's not boring.
It's really boring.
It's not boring.
It's boring.
It's not boring.
It is.
And then the last one we watched, which will segue nicely, is we watched Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Extended
Here we
cut.
go. Here we go.
It's a completely different
It's a completely different movie, yeah. It's not just like your usual horror film extended cut where you get a little bit more gore or a few more scenes or anything like that. No.
Or maybe a bit of a swear.
Or maybe a bit of a swear, yeah. No, you get a completely different opening, 40 minutes of the movie, and then a completely different ending.
But the 40 minutes of the movie hit different because of the different opening and the different ending.
Mm-hmm.
They mean different things.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird, isn't it?
The weirdest thing is, they're both good movies.
Yeah, I like both of them. They can both exist. If they both got sequels and went off and we had some kind of fucking escape room multiverse, I'd be alright with that.
Yep, same.
Made 2 sequels. I just went, fuck it. They're just, right, how much can we give you? We'll give you 30 million, 50 million each, and you make just both sequels.
Yeah. The ending of this one does make marginally more sense, I think, than it just being the ginger chick out of the first one and she's been forced to make a bunch of escape rooms. I think that it does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the background to this, though. What the fuck made them shoot half a completely different film?
It's weird, isn't it?
How does that happen?
Yeah, because it's so different.
So, for context, right, for people who have... I don't know. So, Escape Room 2, the theatrical cut. So, I don't know. In my mind's eye, it starts with, a faceless... the Minos Corporation, they're all faceless people, and they're right, we've got to get Zoe. What are we going to fucking do? And then it quite quickly goes into what happens in like the 40 minutes or so that are the same here. I think.
Yeah.
And then the ending, as you guys said, that the Deborah Ann Woll from the first film comes back in this one, and she's like, actually, Minos forced me to work with them, even though I obviously fell to my death in the first one. Otherwise, they were going to do shit to my son or something. Yep. So they forced me to help them. This one starts with a flashback to like the early noughties, where you see right there and then who the person making the games is. It's like, fucking hell, alright then. And it's this flashback where he traps his wife in a deadly sauna, which is the exact level of stupid that I need for this film.
Oh yeah,
the exact level of stupid. And then it goes into it, and his daughter grows up to be the girl from Orphan, maybe playing the same character, who knows. And now she is developing the games, and it kind of goes on, and then you get like the same 40 minutes or so, and then Deborah Ann Woll, even though she's credited in the extended cut, is not in the extended cut at all. Nope. And instead, the lead girl teams up with the orphan girl, while the lead guy, instead of being trapped in a lighthouse thing being filled up with sand, if I remember correctly from the theatrical cut, is instead in the deadly sauna room.
Yep.
And then, at the end of this, you have a twist where it actually turns out that even though the daughter has been appearing to play nice, actually, she is fucking psychotic, kills her dad, and saying, I want you to be proud of me, I'm gonna make some fucking brilliant escape rooms. Escape Room 3, Orphan versus Zoe.
Yep.
Which I want to see very badly.
Yep.
And it just...
it's completely different.
This film is not... it doesn't feel like it would have had that massive a budget.
15 million.
But, yeah, this is the thing. Like, the beginning, completely new stuff. The end, completely new stuff. They don't reuse fucking anything. There's new sets.
Yep.
The escape room is completely different. And I mean, to be fair, the end of the theatrical cut was really dissatisfying, because it was like, right, okay, so now she's going to get on the plane that was, like, teased at the end of the first one.
Yep.
And it did feel like, okay, so we've literally just ended at the same place
as the
that
first
the first film ends. And that felt weird at the time. And it's like, well, yeah, no wonder, because for some fucking reason, they've just binned this plot off and replaced it with another plot that actually probably isn't as satisfying. There's a story behind this, and what the fuck is that story?
You hope that at some point it kind of comes out as to what the fuck happened.
It's not Escape Room 2 Extended Cut, it's Escape Room 2 Different Escape Room 2.
Escape Room 2B.
Yeah.
Yeah!
And if they do make a sequel, because Escape Room 2 did quite well, if they do make a sequel, which one do they make it off?
Well, this is the thing. It was like, it got delayed, because the thing is, right, because of all COVID and whatnot, it was originally supposed to come out in January 2021. It then got pushed back to January 2022. And then they were like, actually, no, fuck it, we're just going to release it in about a month. And I wonder whether they were just like, right, what cut do we fucking release? Fuck it. Just do the original cut. Fuck it, just release it. And like in 2022, if it came out in January 2022, would they have actually gone, do you know what? the orphan cut, which is what I'm going to call it, the orphan cut is actually the better cut. Release that. It's bizarre.
Yeah. It is. It's such an odd one.
It feels like such a waste of money. Because, like, the theatrical cut must have been the one that they did reshoots on. Or did they do the theatrical cut, then they were like, no. Because the orphan cut feels like what Escape Room 2 should be.
Yeah.
The theatrical cut that really doesn't, actually, the more I think about it. This does feel like the true Escape Room 2.
Yeah, it does. It's a really fucking weird...
Bonkers.
Yeah. Like you said, I'd love to know what happened.
Bonkers. And just, it's like I say, it's not like they even reused the same sets or anything like that. Like,
nope.
They surely would have had to do extensive reshoots. Or did they literally just go, we're going to shoot all of this and then decide after which one works?
I think there's maybe an element of that.
I want to know.
Like that, yeah.
God, listeners, seriously, if there's anything out there that actually goes into this, let us know. I fucking mental.
It genuinely is. There's like a completely different 40 minutes of this movie.
It would make more sense if it was a bigger film, but it's Escape Room Tournament of Champions.
Yeah.
I want to see the sequel to both.
I want to see the sequel to both.
So do I. You know, like, but God, the Orphan versus Zoe. My God, what a fucking treat that would be.
What else you been watching then, bud?
Oh, man. Wowee. And that was my Christmas present from Mark, so thank you, Mark.
You're very much welcome.
Right, okay, so... so did a little bit of kind of like rewatching and whatnot, ready for end of year review stuff. So I watched Annette, which I have now seen Annette twice. Hell yeah.
Yep.
Enough forever.
I like Annette. Annette will not be appearing next week on any of the lists. It dropped down a little bit, but what I will say is I think the last half hour, 40 minutes are pretty fucking brilliant. I think May We Start is an incredible opening. I think the middle third, there is some fat on that could really be cut. But I think it ends strong, but it's not quite enough there to, there's not quite enough there to make me think actually, that is one of the best films of the year. I also rewatched Eternals just to kind of calibrate my thinking on that now that's on Disney Plus. So, I wish I saw Eternals in IMAX, because I think it just showed to me that the Cineworld in Cardiff do not give a fuck about the technical presentation of their films. I think I've mentioned this in passing on the podcast before, but since I started going to the Odeon here more, I've actually realised, oh shit, films can actually look really, really great on the big screen. I think the Odeon in Cardiff does a great job. I think the Cineworld in Cardiff does a pretty shit job. Eternals was a very murky, blur experience at the Cineworld. The IMAX enhanced version on Disney Plus, I thought, was almost like watching a different film in points. But one hand giveth, the other hand taketh away. That film, I watched it with Donna, first time she'd watched it. And she turned around to me at one point and just went, "There's a lot of explaining in this, isn't there?" like completely like not me saying anything, and it was like, yeah, there is. They are trying to do so much. It reminds me of Iron Man 2 in a way, where that film, they're trying to set up so many different like ways that the MCU could go off in the future. Eternals isn't necessarily doing that, but it's trying to just set up so much internal Eternals history. And it's like, let's just make sure that we actually care about these characters first.
That's a fair comment.
You know, it's like, you think of the characters in the MCU that you're looking forward to seeing in the future. I'll be honest, it's not Cersei. It's not fucking whatever Barry Keoghan was called. It's like, I'll watch this cast as supporting characters in other films, but I'm not very excited about an Eternals 2. I don't think anyone is. And I do wonder, because the thing is, with this, they were like, this is like, why did they have to, like, not fight Thanos and whatnot? The reason is huge. You're not going to fucking believe it. Huge. It's going to be, a new threat for the MCU. It's like, this big red dude.
Yeah.
Right, okay, sweet. And it's going to be fascinating. Like, now that we're looking back, right, Shang-Chi feels like the one out of those. I mean, Spider-Man is its whole different thing. But out of Black Widow, Shang-Chi and Eternals, Shang-Chi feels like the one that actually, like, people were like, yeah, more of that, please. I like them. Let's do that more. And you had Black Widow, where it was like, well, you know, it's Black Widow finally getting her own film, and it's Eternals, where it was like, directed by Oscar-winning director Chloe Zhao, starring these people, and it's all epic and shot on real locations. And I love the epic, I love the shot on real locations. I'll be honest, give me more Simu Liu and Awkwafina being fun together. That's what I want, and I wouldn't be surprised if plans for Eternals 2 are now actually we're going to roll them into other films. I could see that at this point. We've introduced the characters, now we can just have them be supporting characters in other films.
Yeah, I can't see there being an Eternals 2 now.
And the fact that the way they left it was they're all kind of all over the place.
Exactly. They can use that to feed into everything.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Eternals, it's really fucking long. I think that's my one line review of Eternals. It's really fucking long.
Awkwafina's in Swan Song.
Is she?
It's a very different role.
Who is?
Awkwafina.
In Swan Song?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like really upsetting role?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Cool, great.
It's all just very upsetting, Ian. Just assume that it's all upsetting.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I also caught up with Vacation Friends.
What do you think?
Vacation Friends, good movie.
It's a fucking great movie. It's a good time.
It's a good movie.
It's just fun.
Yep.
It's just fun. Like you were saying, I think you messaged me about it saying it's great the fact that John Cena can recognise when birds are about to take a shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my Letterboxd review was simply 10 years ago this would have been fucking huge.
Yep. And I agree with that, and it should have been fucking huge because it's fucking it's a great time. Love that movie. It is
such a fucking shame that in the UK was just like, yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
No one's seen it, no one's talking about it. That film is really, really fun. It feels like a mid-budget studio comedy from 10-15 years ago, and it works a treat.
Yep.
Like really, really delightful. We watched that last Saturday, then watched Eternals this Saturday, and I know which fucking Saturday I'd rather live in. So before I go to more current stuff, the Blank Check podcast are doing a new mini-series on the films of Jane Campion. So bit of a change of speed this. I watched Jane Campion's first movie, a made-for TV movie called Two Friends, which was about 80 minutes long and tells the story of two teenage friends, but tells it in reverse. So the start of the film is when they've kind of gone their separate ways and they don't really seem to like each other. And then the start of the film is one of them writing a letter to the other one about how much they like them and how much they hope that they're going to be friends in school forever. And then it's all about, like, how did that go wrong in between. Interesting bit of work, I gotta say. Like, it does kind of feel like a bit of a project, but I enjoyed it. It's on the Criterion channel, which is how I watched it. And yeah, I quite liked it, actually. So yeah, Two Friends, but I don't know, Blank Check did like a 2-hour podcast about it, so go listen to that. So I've got two more. Hotel Transylvania 4 just ejected its bowels all over Amazon Prime last week. It was supposed to come out in the cinema last October, and then Amazon bought it, and it was, and they were just like, "Oh, what have we got for January the 14th? Nothing. Oh, I've just found Hotel Transylvania 4 down the back of the sofa. How about that? Oh yeah, go on then." So, yeah.
Is this the one that Adam Sandler even couldn't be asked to come back for?
Yep. Sandler's not back for this one. Sandberg and Gomez are, to be fair. Yeah, Jendy Tartakovsky did the story, but didn't do the screenplay or direct it. So I have time for the Hotel Transylvania films. I quite enjoy them. The third one, lots and I saw in the cinema. We had a really good time with it, to be fair. Hotel Transylvania 4 is just like this. I'm surprised it was supposed to go to the cinema. It's not like awful, but it's just very direct to video. It's like the return of Jafar.
Sony sold it to Amazon for $100 million.
Fucking ridiculous. I mean, like, the thing is, I think Sony probably would have made more than that worldwide. So, I mean, obviously, like, exhibition at gross and whatnot, you'd probably have to do 200 mil worldwide, which, I don't know, in October it probably would have done.
Probably would have done all, yeah.
But, it's a safe 100 million. Yeah, I mean, it just, it's not like any of them were necessary, but it just, there's fuck all to it, really. So what happens in this one? There's a fucking weapon that turns monsters into humans and humans into monsters. So Andy Samberg's character turns into a monster. Adam Sandler's character turns into like a middle-aged dad. 2 out of 5.
Fair enough.
I don't really have much more to say about it. Do you know what I have got more to say about, though?
Go on.
Dear Evan.
The floor is yours.
Folks, I watched Dear Evan Hansen. So, the really, really, really frustrating two things about Dear Evan Hansen are these. One, the central casting. Two, and more frustrating, I'll get to the central casting, but more frustrating, this could have been really, really good and could have been something that would have meant a lot to a lot of people. Because the bones of it are there, and the third act, the last 20-25 minutes of a 2 hour 20-minute film, so like the end of the third act, actually kind of got me. I'll say that. There is a very, very clever reveal of something which I hadn't expected, and kind of played with what you're expecting towards the end, which I didn't see coming and was quite impactful. And the very end of it, like how the story wraps up, is like, okay, fair enough, that's how we're leaving things. Okay, fair enough. But the fact that this it even was popular on Broadway is fucking insane. So the story is a loner in high school who doesn't have any friends, is told by his therapist to write letters to himself. So they start Dear Evan Hansen. And he writes a letter to himself, that's very nice. And he's trying to G himself up. Another kid grabs the letter off of him, reads it, and Evan Hansen is talking about this guy's sister and how much he likes her. And the guy is like, that's fucked up, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, alright. It is a little bit creepy that you're talking about this guy's sister, and it's like he has no social connection with her, like, whatsoever. There is a moment early on where they interact where Ben Platt, who plays Evan Hansen, plays it like he's not a human. And that's it. So he likes her from afar, but in this letter he's talking about her. Also some nice things, G'ing himself up, but about her. So that kid then turns out to be depressed and he kills himself, and he's got that letter on him, and his mum, played by Amy Adams, thinks that he wrote that letter to Evan Hansen, and then Evan Hansen, not wanting to upset the mum and the family, basically goes along with, yes, okay, we were friends, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of builds from there, where people suddenly start noticing him and liking him because he was the friend of a kid who killed himself. And then, like, through his natural ability to kind of, like, tell stories and things like that, people like him, and it kind of goes on from there. So, it's... There's a musical number in this, which I think is called Sincerely Yours, which is basically where he is writing a letter in the voice of the dead kid, but pretending it's him, but getting advice from someone else who he's letting in on all this stuff that's happening as to how to write it in the voice of the other guy. So it's a comedy song about how Evan Hansen doesn't really know how to be a fucking person, and this other guy is like, you can't say that, that sounds psychotic. But it's a comedy song about him pretending to basically be the voice of a kid who killed himself.
Oh.
What the fuck? Then, later on, there is another song where Evan Hansen is talking to the dead kid's sister, who Evan Hansen wants to fuck, and is talking to him about her, about the conversations that the dead kid used to have with him, about how much he liked his sister, but it's Evan Hansen actually talking about the things he likes about the sister. So, to the sister, it is her brother talking about how much he loves her, but to Evan Hansen, how much he loves her. But it's like, so Evan Hansen, you're expressing your love for this girl by basically pretending to be her dead brother who wants to fuck her.
This sounds so just what the fudge.
It is so fucking misjudged. It is so misjudged.
It sounds awful.
And this is... I haven't even mentioned the physical appearance of Ben Platt at this point. Now, this is a guy who played Evan Hansen on Broadway. He's like 26 years old and looks like he's had a very hard life. And I mean, I shared some pictures with Mark in the boy chat, and I don't know, Bex, if you've seen any of them.
I've seen some of the ones you put on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, that one's rough. That one's rough. And it just, the hubris of that guy to go, I can do this, is staggering. And the thing is, right, Caitlin Dever, who is good in this. This is the thing. It's like the rest of the cast are perfectly good in this, but Caitlin Dever does, like, she's not just playing 16. I mean, she looks like she could pass for 16, 17. She could. I don't know how old she actually is. She must be older.
25.
She's 25. So that is fucking mental. Like, if they were cast as their real ages, it wouldn't be that creepy. You know, if you knew that. But with this, she looks like she could be 16. He looks like he could be 36. And I mean, it's such a fucking car crash decision. And the kid who plays the dead kid on Broadway, he was played by Mike Feist from West Side Story. And it's like, fucking hell, Mike Feist, you made the right decision there, mate. Good for you. You know, I mean, I know you guys didn't like West Side Story as much as me, but trust me, he made the right decision. It is staggering in its what the fuck were you thinking? I mean, Universal, between Deer and Evan Hansen and Cats, like, whoever's fucking making those decisions, wowee. And but like I say, it's talking about some, like, serious stuff. And I mean, there's this one song, he strikes up a friendship with this girl who has a song about how, like, she is popular and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't, like, have issues herself, and that's good, you know. It's like everything around the character of Evan Hansen and the performance of Evan Hansen is fine, but Evan Hansen himself it's toxic, and he is the anchor of the film. And I mean, it's a bad film, but to be fair, I can't imagine the Broadway production being that great either. It's crazy. It's crazy that, and to be honest, it feels like it was successful because 5 years ago, like, there were just a lot of buzzwords and people were like, yes, we should care about that. And now you look at it, it's like, well, yes, we should care about that, but also, fuck me, what? Like, with how it's portrayed. Awful film. Awful film. And made more so for the fact that people are trying. Like, I mean, yeah, Julianne Moore and Amy Adams are in this, for fuck's sake. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Dear Evan Hansen.
3 out of 5.
Just, like, an awful film. Awful film. It did, but and yet didn't make me as angry as a certain other film we'll talk about next week. So there's that. So let's talk about a certain tragedy. It is the Tragedy of Macbeth. Oh yes, we're not done yet, folks. Directed by Joel Cohen and starring Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, Bertie Carval, Alex Hassel, and Corey Hawkins. So, it's Macbeth. Okay. Well, I've got a description here. A Scottish lord, played by Denzel Washington, becomes convinced by a trio of witches that he will become the next king of Scotland. His ambitious wife will do anything to support him in his plans of seizing power. So, Mark.
Hello.
In the entertained to appreciated kind of balance, like appreciating what it was doing balance, where were you there? I feel like this is maybe a film where you could admire it rather than like it, but I'm kind of intrigued to see where you're at.
Ooh, good question. It's the thing is, I am actually quite familiar with Macbeth.
You wrote it after all.
I did write it. I ghost wrote it.
Are you William Shakespeare?
No, I'm the guy who William Shakespeare kept on stealing stuff off by getting me drunk.
Wow, what a wonder.
Yeah. So I'm quite familiar with it because I've been in it a couple of times and
Studied it.
and I've studied it because of that, and I studied it. I did it at GCT and I did it at A level, and I've been in it twice.
What did you play?
I was in it once where I played Banquo, and I was in it once where we played several different roles and kept swapping roles within it. So at one point I was Macbeth, got one of the big fucking long fucking monologues for Macbeth, which is great. You have to remember a lot of shit. And then at another point I was different people around it, and then with different people with Macbeth, and it kind of flowed around.
So you kept changing roles?
Yeah.
So you took something that's super confusing and then just made it more confusing?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good
It's
concept.
what you get when you get like just directors who think that they have a great vision. So I was quite familiar with it. So it was nice the fact that it was that they very much did stick to the fact that it's the original text. But then you are going starting to get a little bit bored of only understanding every 8th word. But it does look very, very nice. It's a very well put together movie. I enjoy the fact that the movie scenes flow from one into another to make it feel like a play. It's set out with minimalistic lighting and sets, again to make it feel more theatrical. The fact that the first cut, from what I remember, is when the first act finishes, and so it was quite nice having all of those bits. So was I entertained? I was never bored, but it was more because of the visual spectacle that it was. And I think it's a very good adaptation. However, I don't get why
it's a good adaptation.
No, I get why it's a good adaptation because all the people around it are all talented.
Why do it?
But why do it?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was joking there, but
it's my point that I don't quite understand. Because
what's your preference with Shakespeare adaptations? Do you prefer them to adapt the text but keep the story the same, like something like, say, for instance, 10 Things I Hate About You, Clueless? Or do you prefer them to keep the text the same and modernise the
You're setting me up
background?
something I said earlier, aren't you?
No. I'm just interested, like Romeo and Juliet, or do you prefer them to keep it traditional, like they have with this?
I prefer to see someone do something a little bit more with it.
So more like your Clueless, 10 Things I Hate About You.
I once saw a production of Macbeth that was done as if it was in feudal Japan and they were all samurais. And that was really fucking good.
But was the text the same?
The text was similar, but was also slightly altered to make it more palatable for people now.
So like Romeo and Juliet?
Yes. I think there's an element of a little bit of I don't understand what there's nothing. It's just a version of Macbeth, which is fine, but it's still just a version of Macbeth.
It's not doing an awful.
It's not doing anything It's not breaking new ground with it. It's just a version of Macbeth by very, very talented people. But a little bit, I think you're faking a little bit of grandeur with it. Because you're already going to get the idea of grandeur. Like, for instance, Denzel Washington's getting some talk for Best Actor in this. Well, he's Denzel Washington, so he's very good. But
does he do anything that groundbreaking?
Yeah, there's nothing
other than
groundbreaking
Shakespeare's words?
Of it. It's people are impressed when people do Shakespeare in the original text. But it's still remembering lines and delivering lines.
Yeah, I get that.
So there's a little bit... It's very, very good, and it's very much, well done. But it's nothing fucking new. It's fucking Macbeth. It's existed for hundreds of years. It's very nice. It's very well done. It's a 4 out of 5 movie. But I just can't see why.
Okay.
Which I appreciate is a bonkers stance to take. I'm fine with that. But I just don't get it.
You appreciate the execution, but you can't understand why it was done.
It's very nice to look at. It's very well directed. It's very well everything.
I think the sections with the witches are
but
really
it just seems a little bit. It seems a little bit of a group of very talented people kind of showing off that that Apple have paid fucking probably an awful lot of money for a lot of people to show off.
So I'm just looking it up here. Okay, that's interesting. So it was announced in March 2019 that he was going to do this, that Joel Cohen was going to do this. And I was kind of thinking, like, is this just something that they did in lockdown because they were like, fuck it, we're available, and that sounds like an interesting experiment, but obviously not.
Oh no, there's been chat about this for years.
Yeah, and I at times a flat circle, dude. So, but Bex, do you think Denzel, like, just feeding off of Mark's opinion there, do you think Denzel did enough here to kind of differentiate, this is why we're doing Macbeth?
It's really difficult for me, this one, because I have no familiarity with Macbeth. Come from a very different academic background than Mark does. It was very much more science than theatre.
Yeah, I mean, in your school, you're all just throwing shit at each other, weren't you, Bex? So.
But, I mean, we studied Midsummer Night's Dream, and that's about the extent of my Shakespeare knowledge. I've never seen an adaptation of Macbeth, and I just about know that Lady Macbeth's supposed to be one of those juicy parts for ladies in theatre, and that's about as far as my knowledge extends. So I think he's very good in it, and I think his delivery of the very dense text makes it more understandable than it maybe could have been if it was done very dryly. I think the acting, the facial acting and the mannerisms around the way that he's delivering the text makes it more kind of understandable, I guess, than it could have been. Although I did have to keep saying to Mark, right, so just so that I've got this straight, is this where we're at right now? Yes. Okay, that's fine. Because it's not hugely accessible, and I think if you're not familiar with the play and you've not studied it, it's not necessarily going to be. I think you mentioned on Twitter something about, like, if you're new to Macbeth, this is maybe not the adaptation to watch.
Yep. And
I think perhaps that's correct in the fact that it's difficult to understand the kind of the dialogue at points, but also it does kind of humanise it in a way. I think Denzel's very good in it, and I think it makes it easier to understand from his point of view because of his delivery.
Yeah, I really, the thing is, I really liked Denzel in this. I thought that he actually papered over. I mean, so I will say, I'm not. I know Macbeth, but I'm not super familiar with it, and it felt like an ever so slightly abridged version of it, where things just seem to kind of escalate quite quickly. But I thought that Denzel did a great transition there. I think it's maybe highlighted by the fact that Frances McDormand, I thought, just was, okay, she's ambitious, now she's mad, now she's dead. And it didn't, I don't know, it felt very, okay, she's this, then this, then this, and it didn't flow. Denzel, even in, the scenes that he's in, you see that ideology changing. I see a dagger before me scene. Fucking ruled, I thought. And the way, the imagery, the way that is played on screen along with Denzel's performance was fantastic. But it does, I don't know, it does just seem to jump about a bit, and it's like, if you know the play and know the play well, then that's absolutely fine. But otherwise, it's like the dude who comes in and fights Macbeth towards the end and gets killed by Macbeth. Who the fuck's he? He's in the one scene beforehand where he's with Corey Hawkins, and then fucking the turncoat guy comes along and is having a chat with them. But why is he now suddenly all like, I'm gonna kill Macbeth? You know, it doesn't. That stuff didn't flow for me that well. But like I said, Denzel, I thought he was great. Catherine Hunter as the Three Witches is doing some fucking next level shit, especially in her opening scene. She was fucking fantastic. I thought
she was brilliant. Yeah,
the opening bit where she's all three of them, and then they expand out into the pond, and then into reality is great. That's fucking great.
That's it's unfortunate that possibly the most interesting shot in the entire movie is that shot.
What, the three in the pond?
Yeah,
and
that's not me saying that there's no other interesting shots, because there are some really, it's a really nice looking movie, but that's a fucking really good shot of her, and then they got the reflection, and then they appear, is really fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, just a lot of people have been talking about the work of Fritz Lang and the kind of German impressionist kind of stuff, and it just felt to me like, okay, Joel Cohen he's obviously got a vision here, and that's interesting, but I think it's fair to say that it does feel more like an artistic exercise than it actually does a film to be enjoyed by an audience. But I did enjoy it. But Apple TV having this is fucking fascinating to me. It's like, who, again, in this world of content, it's like Apple TV are just like, right, what have we got for Friday the 14th of January? Nothing at the moment. What have you got down the sofa there? Black and white 4:3 adaptation of Macbeth, starring Denzel Washington. Okay, put that on.
Yeah, the thing is, the theatre crowd and the fucking mid-50s to late 70s, probably all vegan now, A24 upper class crowd will lap this fucking shit up.
Well, no, they will, but Captain is the new episode of Ted Lasso on, opens up their Apple TV and it's just like the tragedy of Macbeth. Like it just, I love that they're promoting it.
Yeah,
but
Apple TV's bonkers in the way that it gets content. It really fucking is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I like that they are just kind of like, look, we're going to have one big thing a week. Like Netflix is like, we're going to have 12 big things a week. And we're going to rely on the algorithm to predict which one you'll be interested in.
And Amazon's
Apple TV,
like, we're going to have 28 big things a week, but you must find them.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
We made another Bond movie and put it on here. We can't find it.
You must know about it in advance and find it using a unique set of fucking skills.
Yeah, you must solve these riddles free. That's Amazon Prime. Apple TV is just like, look, we've got a nice quality bit of content for you, but it just makes me laugh thinking that like your average person. I'm not denigrating them because it's like I'd probably find it a tough watch if I didn't know what the fuck it was. But you're opening up your Apple TV and it's like, right, what are they recommending this week? The Tragedy of Macbeth, where even the poster is hard to kind of understand what it is. That's, I don't know, but I like it. I do think it's funny, but I like it. And the thing is, I like this film, but it just, I kind of get what Mark's saying though, because for all the points that I do like about it, it is a bit like, but it's Macbeth.
Yeah. Is this doing anything particularly unique with Macbeth?
Yeah, it is that. It is.
It's beautifully shot.
It is beautifully shot, and it is, what is it? But there is also taking you back to the point of, we're going to do it with all the, we're going to keep all the original text, we're going to do it minimal, all this. It's like, all right, so literally like it's been done for 400 years. That is what you're going to do.
But isn't the whole thing with Shakespeare that it can be interpreted in different ways? I don't know.
There's a lot of...
Try to help.
There's a lot of... I'm going to go back to an old school podcasting phrase.
Okay.
There's an epic amount... Again, I liked the movie. There's an epic amount of bumwiffery about this movie.
Bumwiffery? Yeah, okay.
There really is. And it's a good movie. But I can imagine Joel sitting there and going to Ethan and going, I've got our next movie. And I'm going, alright, cool, yeah, fire it at me. We're going to do Macbeth. Yeah, no, I'm alright. So it's like, no, we're going to do Macbeth, alright. So, like, are we going to do, like, is Clooney's going to play, like, Lady Macbeth and Franny McDee's going to play Macbeth and we're going to have, like, it's going to be fucking zany. No. 4-3, black and white.
Straight up Macbeth.
Macbeth. Just fucking Macbeth. Ralph Ineson's in it. And Ethan Cohen going, yeah, I'm alright. Just alright. Gonna sit this one out, Joel.
Grudgingly admitted at one point that Frances McDormand could still turn it on when she wanted to, and then it went all a bit fucking wrong at the end.
I think she's good in it. But it's just... She doesn't do out with it.
No, that's it.
No.
She doesn't do out with it. And for Frances McDormand to play Lady Macbeth and not do anything with it feels weird.
She's odd. She's just odd in this. Like, she doesn't fucking do anything.
Nope.
She has that...
It's supposed to be a really strong role, isn't it? Like, and she's just... Oh, actually, I've decided I'm not going to kill him. No, you fucking are going to kill him. I am. That's the strongest bit.
Yeah.
I had to interpret it for myself as we were going through, didn't I? So, Mark, are we basically at a point where he's like, these like crazy ladies have told him that he's going to be like this thing, a thing, whatever the fuck that is.
It's a lord bit.
Then he's going to be a king, and then he's like, I actually don't want to wait to be king. So he's going to he wrote to his like missus about it, and she's like, let's just kill the king. And he's like, alright then. But then he's had a bit of like regrets about it, and then she's like, no, you're gonna fucking kill the king.
Yeah, it's pretty
alright then.
Yeah.
That's how I had to kind of interpret it for myself as we were going through.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like I'm definitely not shit with it.
I'm definitely not shit. It's really good.
But it's Macbeth.
Yeah, but it's Macbeth.
Can you fuck up Macbeth? Oh, I don't want to find out now.
Probably.
There's probably a really bad adaptation out there, isn't there?
There's the Polanski version. with Mel Gibson.
Oh God, Polanski and Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Great combo.
But they were right a fucking night out.
I mean, they probably are for each other. They're having a good time to themselves.
Let's not go there. This podcast's been weird enough.
Everyone around them's like, these guys are fucking cunts.
What's the poll?
Definitely not shit 60%, shit 20%, and Geostorm 20%.
Geostorm, wow.
Fucking love that someone's put Geostorm for that.
I really enjoy that.
We do have questions. So we have Rick Kidd. We've got 2 from Rick Kidd. We announced that Michael Mann is releasing a novel, which is a prequel and sequel to Heat. Do you want a film version, or is it a case of no, leave it alone in case you tarnish the original?
Yeah, 100% no, leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm pretty honest on that.
Yeah, we don't need that. I'm looking forward to that book, but no.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the book, but I can read the book as separate to the movies.
Are we allowed to reevaluate if the book's really good, though? Like, if it's Michael Mann that's doing it and he wrote Heat, is it...
I'm worried if it's... Yeah, well, I think, alright, fair enough. Yeah. I'm worried about Pacino playing that character again.
What about Pacino in general? I just don't think he's as good anymore.
I think that maybe there's a possibility he's not. We do have a historical question that Rick asked us last week, but obviously we didn't record last week. Question for the next show: who are your best / most memorable villainous royals or national leaders in films? Rupert Friend in The Death of Stalin.
Anyone who played Hitler in anything.
Including Taika Waititi?
Sure.
Yeah, Rupert Friend in Death of Stalin, because his performance in that is some of the funniest shit I've seen. In a movie that I didn't love, a performance of him that I thought was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. I'm trying to think of any other particularly memorable ones.
King Ralph.
No, it's really that I like bone chilling. Fuck.
What a prick.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of this. All I got was Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator.
He's too handsome to be truly bone chilling though in that. It's like his Gary Oldman as Sirius Black role, isn't it? It's the one where he's like, fuck, objectively hot. In real life, not so much.
Fair enough, didn't realise that was a thing.
And what's his name? Aragorn.
Yeah, I think Viggo Mortensen was handsome a lot before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That was it for questions this week.
Ah, no.
Nice. Very good. Okay, so coming up on next week's show, it's our best of 2021 show, I think.
Yeah, we got a lot of shit to cram in before then.
Yeah.
Oops.
That
Nightmare Alley.
Didn't it?
It did. Nightmare Alley is also out.
Yay.
Yep. As is Belfast.
As is... Oh, fucking hell. Shit. Next week. Okay, so next week, very, very focused as much as we can, is Nightmare Alley, Belfast Review of the Year, nothing else unless there's anything huge, like news or trailer-wise.
Yeah.
Alright.
We'll hope that Belfast and Nightmare Alley reviews might be able to happen during the end of year review show.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it a go. I'm almost tempted to say, if they don't, then we just push the reviews of those to the week after, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Alright, so review of the year coming next week. We'll also have the next Michael Mann show next week. Patreon.com/Film We are a Pod Syndicate podcast. Chin Stroker vs. Punter, Entertainment Landfill, Iron Sequel, His Film, Her Movie. Fucking the Rewatch Project. Remembered. We are podsyndicate.com. And that is going to do it for me. I think Kiki is squeaking a toy.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, okay. So, thank you very much, Becky.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Ian.
And as always, Jason Reitman can suck my fucking dick. Good
And he
night.
can lick my balls.
Sweet.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.